Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and, Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a Thursday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next three. Reese is here, as is customary. Dylan here as well. Bake off. He's doing the OHSAA. He's on softball beat this weekend, so he's up in the Akron area on that. Reese, we'll be able to look forward to that. Does that stream on the OHSAA website?
Yeah, I think you can get the feed there.
Nice.
He's double dipping. He's taking PTO to get paid.
God, savvy
Man loves
savvy
it.
Move. Savvy move out of him. A little bit of a double dip. No harm in that. We're pretty loaded up for you here today, kids. We got at 9:30, Ryan Day continuing to carry the water, and Ohio State through him by extension carrying the water for the Big Ten. We'll get you that coming up at 9:30. Your emails, the mailbag is full today again. We'll get to those coming up at 10 o'clock. 10:30, Paul Feinbaum will drop by, and 11 o'clock we'll do a little higher or lower. Game one of the NBA Finals is tonight. We will preview that, take a look back at game one of the Stanley Cup Finals last night, which was a banger, quite honestly. It was pretty spectacular for as long as I could watch, and that's the kind of key part of all of that. Today is first day of summer for the boys. So they finished, they went a week longer, it seems, than about everybody else, but they finished up yesterday. I don't think the two little ones, just finishing third and fifth grade, did much of anything for the last 25 days. I don't think they did much of anything. It was one theme day after another. NBC, because he had a little bit of a medical thing that kept him out a week, he did have some makeup stuff to do, but if he wouldn't have done that, I don't know that he would have had anything to do either. So they got there, they handled their thing, they got rid of school. The last day of school, that moment of walking out, when you are their age, is as good a day as you're going to find. I think for a little kid, it's probably close Christmas morning. And then is that second? It might be the second one. It might be Christmas morning, last day of school. That might be the order.
I was a terrible student, so it was always my favorite day of the year. Like
Better than Christmas.
It beat Christmas. It beat Thanksgiving. It, dare I say, it beat the 4th of July. That last day of school, even the parade.
Come on, the parade.
Yep, I know. When I was growing up. Now that I don't have things like that to do, like that, the parade obviously is just a shot ahead above baby Jesus. But I think as kids, like if you were to ask, like what rate's higher,
Put it on the poll. What did you, as a kid, what did you like? What was the better day,
Science.
Christmas morning or last day of school?
I'm with Reeser because what the last day of school signifies is just months of no school.
Freedom.
That's it. Yes.
For parents, it's like, oh, here we go.
It was probably we were right around. We always do like we normally do. This year it was a mess, but normally we do like a family dinner. We'll go out to dinner, whatever. Couldn't do it today. They were pulled in too many different directions. Couldn't do it last night, but we did kind of eat together here at the house late. And Bootsy said, "So what are we going to do tomorrow?" I'm like, "Wait a second. What do you mean? You're going to do nothing, man?
Day off, bro.
You're not going to do anything. Well, aren't we going to go anywhere? No." You're not going to go. Dad's working, man. You're going to be bored. And he's like, what do you mean? I mean, he's like, we're not going to do anything. I'm like, no, you're not. And my wife and I were talking last night, and this is a generational thing for sure. But my kids are going to work on something this summer called being comfortable with being bored. You're going to need to figure some things out. And it's hard. And you guys are closer to their generation even than you are to mine. But just from the standpoint of, they have grown up, and if you have children out there listening, you know this. They have grown up in an on-demand society. They don't have to wait for anything. They don't have to wait for their favorite movie to come up on cable, and hopefully you're recording it with a VHS ready to go so you can watch it again and again. You don't have to go to a video store. If there's a movie you want to see, you don't have to go to a video store and hope that it's there and then go from one store to the next trying to track it down. You have to do that. You know what you do? You go to Amazon, and if it's not, my kids don't even look to see if it's on the streaming services. They just go to Amazon and buy it. That's what they do. Like if that's something that's not streaming, they don't even look for it. They just buy it. Sometimes they'll double buy. Buy one here, buy one there. Why not? Buy one for each streaming service.
They don't do like a BOGO offer? If you buy one, you get one?
Nobody gets hurt. Same thing with music. That's why I've said this before on the show. I think music is completely timeless now. It's completely timeless because you don't have anybody telling you this is the classic rock station. It's all just music. It all just gets fed to you. And if there's a song you want to hear, you just ask Siri or whoever the hell works for Alexa. You just ask them to play it, and then they play it. So you don't have to wait for the song. You have to sit there. I was thinking about this. A great many summer I spent fixing fence. That was when I was my oldest age. That was my occupation in the summer. I'd get on a four-wheeler and I'd go fix fence all day or pick rock. I do those two things a lot when I was that age. And one of the things I was thinking about is thank God I had a transistor radio with batteries, because what that allowed for was companionship. But I was restricted because of how rural we were to one country music station, and if you could get to the right elevation, you could get an FM rock station out of Great Falls. If you could get high enough up, you could get that. But you would sit there and drive around and just hope to hear a song twice a day. If there was a hit song, like you would just hope, oh my God, finally it played again. It was 6 hours ago. What took so long? That type of thing. They don't have anything. So then their whole life is on demand. Everything is just curated, one thing after another. So my wife and I were talking last night. They're going to have to get used to getting bored. So this is going to be fascinating to just see, like no screens. There's things to do, sort it out, figure it out. Now, I'm a realist, so my hunch is this will last about a week. And then we'll go right back to what it was and trying to entertain. But that's the best ever. And I think it's one of the biggest casualties of, in all seriousness, I think it's one of the biggest casualties of where we are right now with technology is this generation of kids. They don't know how to be bored. They don't know how to go find things to do on their own. They really struggle with it. Have you found it somewhat easier having three of them that they can kind of be their own buddies? That's what I was going to ask. Should be. Yeah. I mean, the two littles will definitely go work things. But even when, like, for example, this morning, Beamsy was outside working on lacrosse and whacking the ball and getting things going, and Bootsy was trying to work out some sort of a Fortnite game with his buddy. Like, so it does help that you, but what you need in that scenario, and anybody who has multiple, you need the lead dog to be a team player. So I need the 13-year-old to kind of get things going. I need him to be kind of the spark. And so his whole class went up to Cedar Point. So I don't know why. They're out of school yesterday, and now they're doing like a class thing to Cedar Point the day after they're done. So it's just the two mediums, the medium and the little here today. So I'm thinking that we could have at least a relatively positive day. Since we spoke about the pool a little over a week ago, have any of them or any of you guys gotten into it? Oh, baby. Last 2 nights, we're good to go.
I bet. Yesterday was a heater.
Yeah.
Is it still 90 degrees in the pool, or?
No. They wanted heated. Yeah, that was it was only 2 weeks she heated it at 88, and no one got in it. That was fun. It's fun when you go out there and you just see the steam rising, and it's just money just burning. That's always a real treat when you can just visualize money being burnt in the form of a pool. But I think you might be right. I think when you said it, Dylan, the way you phrased it, I think is the right way. When you said it's the realization that you don't have to go to school for months. Yep. And as a kid, like, wait a second, man, the world is my oyster. Who's stopping me today, baby? It's pretty good. And Christmas Day is fleeting. It's over. I mean, it's all the excitement of that morning, and then it's done, and then you got all the family obligations and all that. But as a little kid, school's out for the summer. God bless. What a time to be alive. And certainly in the old days we could be bored. We'll see if our kids can be bored over the course of the next couple months. I'm not very optimistic it's actually going to happen. We had a thriller last night. I thought it was guts times guts times guts for the Edmonton Oilers. They could have packed it in very early in this one. They fought and fought and fought, and boy, do we have ourselves, I think, a series now. We will get into that. Coming up next, Ryan Day at 9:30. Some thoughts on the Big Ten and the playoff and carrying the water for the Big Ten, at least in my opinion. We'll get to all of that coming up. We're off and running on a Thursday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here, and so are the summer savings at RCD RV. Don't miss RCD RV's summer kickoff sale running June 7th through the 21st. New RVs starting as low as $12,995. Now's the time to make a splash this summer. Hurry in. Those deals will not last long. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at RCDRV.com. Visit our locations, Delaware, Heath, and Pataskala, or shop online anytime at RCDRV.com.
Wake up and cash.
It's Top Picks on Morning Juice, powered by WeWinYouWin.com. Professional sports bettor Chad Patrick. Dropping plays and juicing up your Friday mornings with fresh picked winners.
WeWinYouWin.com.
Built by winners for winners.
Stop guessing and start cashing.
He shoots, he scores! It's a great time of year to be a fan, but the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. Maryhaven is here to help with in-person, virtual, and group options. Learn more at maryhaven.com.
Bets are us when dreams don't get in. Bets are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to BathsAreUs.com. 380-225-BATH.
Bets are us when dreams don't get in. Bets are us.
Open a money market account at Kemba Financial Credit Union and enjoy a 4.00% APY intro rate until April 2026, 6 times the national average. Maintain easy access to your funds and secure financial stability. Don't miss out. Offer expires July 31st, 2025. Visit Kemba.org. Restrictions apply. Advantage status and $5,000 minimum and $1 million maximum deposit required. APY equals annual percentage yield. Comparison based on FDIC average. Federally insured by NCUA.
Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Jerry.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, it's that time of year again.
What time is that?
The time all the air conditioners start breaking down.
Oh, that time. Yep, every year.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Like a swarm of bees. They all get together in a coordinated effort.
You mean the Queen air conditioner tells them all to break down?
Nah, they just get tuckered out in the heat, Aaron. Can we handle all the calls?
Sure, we have a swarm of highly trained coolness experts standing by.
Get Eco.
ECO. And we have $3.5 million in new service trucks to get them there the day you call.
The same day? Well, what if you don't call until...
We'll come as late as you'll stay up to let us in. Same day.
That explains all the revving engines.
It's like a beehive of activity, Jerry.
Do you know I invented that weird Scoopy thing you serve honey with?
You should invent something for ketchup, Jerry. It's America.
Ooh, now that's an idea.
Get Eco.
ECO. GetEco.com.
This promo is for anyone who likes baseball or America or Terry Francona's scooter. The Reds are on the Fan. Catch all 162 games here on the Fan and 1460 ESPN Columbus and the Fan's HD2. Your home for Reds baseball, the Fan.
Does heel pain make you hobble just getting out of bed in the morning? If heel pain is affecting your ability to exercise and meet your walking or running goals, relief is as close as your local podiatrist. Podiatric physicians are highly trained doctors who specialize in medical and surgical treatment of the foot and ankle. Ohio Foot and Ankle podiatric physicians are available across the state and are devoted to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care.
For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Got a teen athlete? Then you know putting in the hours is all part of the game. But did you know the same goes for learning how to drive? Because just like playing a sport, learning to drive takes practice. The only difference is the stakes are even higher. 50 hours of practice time driving with you? Worth every minute. Gear up at teachyourteentodrive.ohio.gov.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
today we will see mostly cloudy skies mixed in with chances of showers and thunderstorms throughout the day. Some could be on the stronger side. Daytime highs topping out in the low 80s, and then for tonight, lows down into the upper 60s with those chances of showers and storms lingering and continuing into Friday with our highs in the low 80s. And again, those chances of rain will be on and off. Otherwise, expect skies to be cloudy. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
The radio couldn't contain us, so we've taken over YouTube. Catch Morning Juice weekday mornings at 6 by searching 971 The Fan. Do it. Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed you are. And, of course, every single Monday we have our good buddy Austin Ward on the program. Come on, get there for crying out loud. There we go. Finally opening.
You're talking about the Beat podcast?
And if you're looking for more of the Beat, I am Reese. And if you're looking for more of Austin and Berm, you can listen to the Beat with Austin Berm. It's now streaming the Fans YouTube channel, 10TV Plus. Download the 10TV Plus app today on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Roku, and stay locked in with the latest Buckeye talk anytime, anywhere. Prefer to listen? Just search Austin and Berm wherever you get your podcasts. The Beat with Austin and Berm, now available on your schedule. So they scored first.
Had to.
They scored first.
Huge.
They did, which was huge. And then they gave up 2. And you said, I'm in the second period at 3-2, I just am thinking to myself, and Florida really took advantage in the second period. I thought they were the better team by far, and it felt like that. The environment was stunning. I mean, I couldn't help but be intoxicated by it. Like, they care so much. I mean, it's like how it is here in Buckeye football. Like, it's just, the passion is just, it's hard to even put into proper context because of how much it means. It's the singular passion of the entire nation. And the pressure that's on them is immense. And I don't know a year ago if they would have had the third period response that they had. What was the shot total in the third period? Was it 14-2, Oil? I mean,
boy, it felt even more than that.
Relentless.
Yeah.
Just shot after shot after shot. And they got it tied, and then it goes to overtime. Now, I'll be candid with you. Overtime was 11 o'clock. So that's it for your Uncle Bo.
I missed Dreisaitl's overtime winner.
You can't.
I couldn't.
Because it could go on forever. It's like, I have to assume, it's kind of like, for me anyway, it would be like, if I were an alcoholic and I gave up alcohol and then I said, well, I'm just going to have a sip, the reality is if I just started the overtime period, I know that I would have been in until it ended. And it can end at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I can't have that. So you have to make that. My wife goes, where are you going? This is great. And I'm like, it's 11. I'm out. That's it. I'm old. I can't do this anymore. So Draisaitl wins it at the end of the first overtime period, less than a minute to go. They get it done and win it. It comes on an assist from McDavid, and you say to yourself, "Game on." Is what you say. I thought they had to have it. I thought they had to have game one. I thought it was so critical. One of you guys said yesterday, or maybe it was Jody, I can't remember, said something to the effect of, you cannot win a Stanley Cup final in game one, but you can lose one. And that's kind of the way I felt about last night. If Edmonton were to lose at home and got on 0-1 and lose home field advantage like that, home ice advantage like that potentially would be too much for them to overcome, because when you're talking about Edmonton, you're talking about the pressure of the world, a nation, all of it on McDavid. Like the looming free agency, all of these things. And this is a really good team with the two best players in the series by most people's standards. And to win game one at home and to do so after coming from behind down 3-2 in the third, game on.
You simply cannot let down the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And when Draisaitl gets that goal 66 seconds in, it was kind of a clumsy play defensively for the Oilers on Bennett's goal, where they thought there was goaltender interference, but he's got tripped up by one of Edmonton's defensemen. And then, 90 seconds later, Marchand gets it on the power play. And I thought, that's that.
Me too. Because
it just sucks the life out of that. It feels like that could have sucked the life out of the arena. And then the second period, which felt like an onslaught by the Florida Panthers. For me, it was like, just kind of survive this. Easier said than done. And the Oilers, to their credit, did. And I do think this, compared to last year, everybody was healthy. And you had, to the analogy I made earlier this week. You had your Kyrie Irving moments from Draisaitl, both in drawing first blood and then closing up shop, 30 seconds left to go in overtime.
Yeah, I thought, like you said, Bo, that first goal was huge. They needed that. They needed that. But then when they go down 3-1, when Sam Bennett scores that goal, I'm like, this is over. It's done. I thought Edmonton was dead a bunch of times last night. But as someone who's watched a lot of hockey over at Nationwide, when you see that puck go over the glass and you get a delay of game with hardly any time left in overtime, it's almost always curtains that the team on the power play is going to score in overtime and win the game. And when McDavid got the puck to the in the slot to Draisaitl there, I was like, this. When McDavid got the puck there, I was like, he's going to make something happen here, and then it's just game over because he's the best player of the world and he made a play for his teammate.
Did it end up? Wasn't it ending? And it was kind of appropriate. Was it Perry or was it Nugent Hopkins that got it to McDavid, who then got it to Draisaitl?
And you're thinking Perry to McDavid.
Perry, wasn't it? It was Perry?
Perry got the credit.
Perry to McDavid to Draisaitl to end it. And you think about where all those guys were drafted. You think about who all of those guys were. I mean, Nugent Hopkins has been there forever. Perry, they obviously brought in. But it's just, there's all these familiar guys that we've seen for so long. And then for McDavid to find Draisaitl to win it in stunning fashion. Down 3-1, yeah, of course. You're looking at that and you're saying cooked. McDavid said no, and I think their play actually backs that up. Here he is post-game on the fact that they did not panic down 2 goals in the second.
Yeah, I think Florida has closed out games extremely well. Obviously, we put ourselves in a tough spot. I thought maybe with a little bit of luck, maybe the call goes different on the first one. They score on the power play and find a way to get one off the rush, too. So put ourselves in a tough spot. I thought it was a massive goal from RV, massive, timely. And we just hung in there. And I think that that is experience, as you said. Just knowing that you don't got to open it up. We don't need to we got to hold them at 3 and find a way to get one. And unfortunately, we did.
The other thing about him that struck me is for all of the chasing of Michael Jordan that LeBron James and Kobe Bryant attempted to do in their careers, they never had to play with him commentating pregame and an intermission. So all of a sudden, like, you imagine being McDavid in Edmonton and you look up and there's Gretzky giving his thoughts. Like, you play quite literally in his shadow in Edmonton. It's there. It's omnipresent. And he's standing there, and then you're compared to him. And all of those things hit notes for me that are just so rare in sports. And I cannot imagine the pressure. I was thinking last night, like, how different there was a moment where, like, Tkachuk was skating past McDavid, and Tkachuk was in Calgary, so they were fierce hated rivals with Edmonton. Those two, that Alberta rival is a real one. And you're sitting there and you're thinking, I was thinking to myself, like, how different their lives are. Matthew Tkachuk in South Florida can probably go around largely unnoticed. Can McDavid go anywhere in Edmonton?
No.
I mean, what's the day-to-day? What's the day-to-day in Edmonton? What's that even like? I mean, everywhere he goes, I would assume that obviously he's known everywhere. But even beyond that, like, can he do anything in public?
I do wonder if it's not.
It's such a different life.
It was funny watching the Guardians blank Dylan's Yankees last night. They were talking about Aaron Judge not being able to go out anywhere in New York because he just gets mobbed. And that stinks. Like, you kind of feel bad for those guys. But I wonder if that's the case for McDavid. Like, everywhere he goes, he's recognized. But I do wonder if there's the sense of just let him do his thing. Like, acknowledge him because, one of his nicknames is McJesus.
Yeah.
But also just let him live his life. And I hope it's the latter.
I would assume that there's some. I just wanted to pull out. It's been since I was a kid, since I was in Edmonton. I just want to see what the population is. So
I would say probably the closest situation to this is quarterback for the Green Bay Packers.
So it's similar. It's a little bigger. It's 1.4 million metro. So I think quarterback of the Green Bay Packers would be Winnipeg Jets.
Okay.
That's that one for sure. Is that one. So it's 1.4 million. So it's, yeah, I mean, that's significantly, what would be the equivalent in Ohio of 1.4 million for a metro? I mean, like, Dayton's got to be close to that, isn't it? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm way off. I mean, the 3 bigs in Ohio would obviously be way bigger than that from a metro standpoint. But yeah, and then in South Florida, like, you have complete anonymity. You can play there.
Especially that strip mall they play across from.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Sunrise is in a whole different country compared to Miami.
He's up in Lauderdale. Like, he goes down to Miami. Nobody knows you. You go get a restaurant. You get a reservation. No one's going to bug you. Nothing. You got some complete anonymity. Totally different. But in terms of the game, it was a spectacular game. You're reminded of the thrill of the Stanley Cup. There's something that is so cool about this game can't end until somebody has more goals than the other. I mean, that's just a really cool thing. There's no clock that will save you once you get into overtime. We just go until somebody scores. And it can be all night if you want it to. And the other thing that's so great about the Stanley Cup and about hockey in general is the randomness of it. I was explaining this, the boys and I were watching. They don't watch as much hockey as I did as a kid, and they don't play it. So I was doing a little bit of explaining. And I'm like, the crazy thing about hockey is the best team doesn't always win. A lot of times it's the goalie. Sometimes it's puck luck. There's a million things that go into it, but there's a randomness to it that in major sports is probably most similar to soccer, where sometimes you need a little puck luck, and you can have that. And I think last night was monumental for Edmonton. I think if that at 3-1, if that ends up 4-1 and they're down 1-0, I think it's cooked. And now I think it's on.
It was interesting just having the cutting up McDavid from this morning. Him and Draisaitl did their post-game press conference together.
Oh, did they? You
could see it on McDavid's face, and you can kind of hear it in the responses to some of his questions where he's really pissed. Like you could tell he's not only feeling this, but that and you hope that the feeling it motivates him. Mm-hmm. But there isn't a whole lot of time for anything but hockey, it feels like, for McDavid. Like, all day yesterday, and I'm getting it fed into, every algorithm I have because it's so sports-centric what I do on social media, just everybody being like, yeah, McDavid's great, but where are his cups?
Yeah.
Yeah, if he doesn't get the cup, like, what's that do to his legacy? And I know we play into it as well, but if you're constantly hearing that when you open up then that's what I thought. I'm like, well, this guy, is in his late 20s. He's got all the social medias in the world. His algorithm's probably very spit and chicklets, NHL podcast centric. He's hearing all of the same stuff.
Yeah.
Well, to pile on, I think the pressure is still on him and still on Edmonton because if Florida wins game 2, all the momentum that they picked up in game 1 just goes away. You lose home ice advantage, and the rhetoric is right back to where it is before the Cup started.
The only thing that is that this allows, I think this, you're exactly right. They got game 2 that otherwise it all goes back to Florida. That's 100% true. But I think if they lose last night, I think it could have been really short, a really short series. And you could have seen it coming, and they bowed up and fought, and now series is on. That Florida team just comes in waves. I mean, they're just not going anywhere, and it's going to be a lot for them to try to get through it. Speaking of coming in waves, it feels like every time that the Big Ten comes in waves, it is Ohio State that is doing the heavy lifting, and Ryan Day doing some heavy lifting for the rest of that league. It's work I don't think he needs to do. We will get to it in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Don't sweat it. Call Care Heating and Cooling and we'll fix your air conditioner fast. 1-800-COOLING.
Talking about guns might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Asking safety questions before a play date, like do you have pets, a pool, are there any unlocked guns in the home, can help keep kids safe. Learn more at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by Ohio Health and the Ad Council.
Common Man here. I want to talk to you about my buddy Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. It's rare that a business comes along and offers you such great quality, service, price. If you or someone you love or like, or even strangers on the street tell you they need a jeweler, tell them you got a guy, and that guy is Bob Capace at Worthington Jewelers.
I'm Bob Capace, and I'm your guy.
Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington, worthingtonjewelers.com, where Columbus gets engaged.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, here's what's up on a Thursday edition of the program. Last week, the SEC made a lot of noise. Their commissioner, Greg Sankey, was available every single day of their spring meetings and spoke loudly about the SEC's plans. And the tone was very simple, that he was kind of done playing nice and that his loyalty was to his conference. All of that we've kind of tabled with the understanding that the Big Ten and the SEC are going to walk into this thing hand in hand, are going to control whatever's going forward. But the SEC certainly wins the messaging battle in that they are loud, they are boisterous, and they have a carrier who is willing to really push that message out with ESPN. And so all of those things work. The Big Ten had their spring meetings 2 weeks ago. You didn't hear a word from Petiti. Nothing. Not a single word. Greg Sankey has talked. We've waited. There's nothing. We've heard absolutely nothing from the Big Ten on their plans. So this week, in the fallout of kind of the fallout of SEC meetings, two separate playoff paths have been pushed. The SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12 are actually in favor, reportedly, of a 5+11 model. 5 conference champions, automatic bids. Next 11 ranked teams get in. That's it. That's the list. This particular plan would benefit Ohio State just fine. We'd be just fine in this. They're not going to have a problem. The Big Ten wants a 4-4-2-2-1-3. So 4 automatic qualifiers from the Big Ten, 4 from the SEC, 2 from the Big 12, 2 from the ACC, the best group of 5, and 3 at large. That's what the Big Ten wants. I don't think the Big Ten needs to fight this fight, but there are some that do. I'm viewing this through scarlet and gray colored glasses, and I understand that. So why then, if that is what the Big Ten wants, are we not hearing Tony Petiti say this? Why are we not hearing from him? And instead, who we hear from is Ryan Day. And for, honestly, the entire time that I've been here now, 18 years, any time that the Big Ten tries to get anything done, especially post-Delaney, it feels like it's got to come from Ohio State. It feels like Ohio State has to be the leader in it. We saw this in the COVID seasons, and I think we're seeing this now. It's like, well, what do the Buckeyes think about this? And then we got to go out there and do what Ryan Day did with Adam Rittenberg in his availability with Adam yesterday. And this is how this goes. So Ryan Day, quote, "We're in the Big Ten. We have 18 teams and some of the best programs in the country. I feel like we deserve at least 4 automatic qualifiers." Continuing, "If you don't have those automatic qualifiers, you're less likely to play a game like we're playing this year against Texas because it just won't make sense. If we do, then you're more likely to do that because we play 9 conference games in the Big Ten. The SEC doesn't, so it's not equal." He continues, "I'm concerned." Actually, let's stay there for a second. Okay, this is my issue with this. This doesn't affect Ohio State at all. Ohio State is never going to be left out in a 16-team playoff unless the wheels come off. And the wheels haven't come off in 50 years, save for a bogus Tattoo-Gate season. That's it. The wheels don't come off here. 9-3 Ohio State is getting in. Playing Texas and losing to Texas is not going to impact Ohio State's chance of getting into the playoff at all. You know why? Because Ohio State has more talent, is better than 99% of the teams they play. And it's only been that way for 50 years. So why is Ohio State worried about 4 automatic qualifiers? Why does Ryan Day have to say, because you're playing 9 conference games in the Big Ten and the SEC doesn't, so it's not equal? Neither of the 2 conferences, Coach. Stop carrying the water for Purdue and Rutgers and Maryland and Indiana. Yeah, I know you had a magical season, cigarette guy. I don't expect it to be something that's sustainable. Why are we carrying the water for those teams? Alabama doesn't do this. Georgia doesn't do this. Texas doesn't do this. Ohio State is at times too good of a partner for the Big Ten. And it makes Ryan Day is going to get pounded by this nationally. It's going to be held over him because it's going to make it seem that he's scared that the Buckeyes will be left out. That's going to be the tone that you get from the talking heads. And the reality is there's no fear here of ever being left out. How many times in the last 50 years has Ohio State not won 10 games? Like it doesn't happen much. And even in the off chance that they do lose 3 conference games, like next year, if somehow by hook or crook they were to lose to Texas, Penn State, and another game that you wouldn't expect them to lose, let's say you lose at Wisconsin, they'd still get in. You would be in the top 16 in the country. It's not going to be a problem for you. So why are you fighting battles that do not have anything to do with you? For the good of the league? This is Tony Petitti's job. It's not Ryan Day's.
Units. Remember when Ross Bjork was on with, I mean, he was on with everybody. It felt like in the football season and then kind of after the national championship, talked about units for the conference. Yeah. And how it's important that the Big Ten maximize the units because that means more revenue for the Big Ten. And with more, bites at the apple, with more teams in the college football playoff, you get more of a share for the rest of the schools in the Big Ten. Again, interesting that the Ohio State athletic directors got a stump for the conference. When I read those comments from Ryan Day, you could have told me that Gene Smith made those, and I'd been like, no, that's exactly right, because Gene Smith was the biggest friend of the Big Ten. Yeah. Probably the biggest friend of any conference that an athletic director with no real business doing it had ever been to the rest of the schools in the Big Ten, with Rutgers, with Maryland, now with the schools out west. Like, those comments from Ryan Day read directly out of the Gene Smith playbook as we're a team, we're in this together, where they don't need to be. Ohio State doesn't, to your point, doesn't need to do any of this, but they are because someone's got to do it, I think, is the mindset that they are taking. And if Petitti wants to be in witness protection, fine. But
where is he?
Right. That's a very good question. To your point about not hearing about the Big Ten meetings, in fairness, I did see a picture of Mike Loxley in Los Angeles 2 weeks ago. So they were there, whatever that means.
What is it, on his own Instagram? I didn't see anybody covering it.
On his Twitter, I don't think anybody was covering it because Big Ten.
I mean, I agree with you guys, but to play devil's advocate, let's say last season, something that very realistically could have happened. Let's say Ohio State would have blew that game against Nebraska, that they own. Ugly game, they won by 4 points, right?
Yeah.
And even with that win, Ohio State last year didn't finish not first, not second, not third, but fourth in the Big Ten. And with that loss, they would have been like fifth or sixth in the Big Ten. Would, even in a 16-team playoff, if they would have lost that game to Nebraska, I feel like they would have been right there on the cut line. So if they have a season like that, and we lived through seasons with Urban where they decided to lose to Purdue and Iowa out of nowhere. If something like that happens along with them losing to some of the marquee teams on their schedule, I feel like with this comment, they're getting in for sure. Versus if you have an off season with the other format, Ohio State wouldn't get in.
Well, let's flush that out for a second. I understand the point you're making, and I think it puts them on the bubble. But here's the thing, that this is the lesson I would say about what in the years covering Ohio State football. If there's a bubble and they're on it, they pop it.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And so the teams that they would have been in the mix for, if this was a 9-3 Ohio State team last year instead of a 10-2 one. So last year, for example, in the final rankings of Week 16, okay, college football playoff rankings from Week 16, teams ranked 14 through 17. Here are the teams: Ole Miss, South Carolina, Clemson, who played in an ACC title game and came up a spot, and then BYU, who actually they lost. Yeah, they lost. They didn't play in it. They didn't play in the Big 12 championship game. Okay, so Ole Miss was 9-3, South Carolina was 9-3, Clemson was 9-3 before they won the ACC. 9-3 Ohio State wins a tiebreaker over Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Clemson every day.
The analytics people would have been pounding the table for South Carolina and Ole Miss, though.
And you know what the TV people would have been doing? We like money.
Exactly.
We like money, and we like getting 10 million people to watch, so we're going to take the big, bad Buckeyes, and we're going to rate. That's what they would have said. In a 16-teamer. In a 12-teamer, that's different. Okay? That gets tighter. You would have been on the outside looking in. Bama was on the outside looking in. But in a 16-team, the amount of times where Ohio State would be even having to worry about this at all is so minimal. It's so minimal. What this is about, and this is, I think in simplest terms, this is Ryan Day in an extension Ohio State carrying water for a team. Is Fish, he's out today, right?
He's still in, but
so
he will be
this.
exiting shortly.
I didn't want him to have to hear this. This is them carrying water for Illinois. That's what it is. It's, hey, don't leave Illinois out. Illinois should be in. So last year, the 4 in an automatic qualifier would have been Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, Indiana. All of those teams are in the top 10 in the country. So those would have been your 4 automatics. So you're protecting things that don't really need to be protected, and it's Ohio State doing it, and Ohio State doesn't need to do it. You're going to be fine around here. There's no scenario, barring a season of just utter collapse, where the Buckeyes are going to be on the outside looking in. And we have to get to the point where we understand that not only is because of the size of their conference, it's the depth of it's just better. The SEC does not have as big of a bottom as the Big Ten does. It just doesn't. And most of those SEC teams down there have a massive non-conference game against a Power 5. Some of their most heated rivals, like Florida's most heated rival, is Florida State. So those type of games are out there too for them. And I just think it makes you seem silly carrying that water for a league that, quite honestly, has not shown you that same type of loyalty, whether it be in kick times or the way that they've handled you. So to me, as we're sitting here waiting on the Michigan penalty, like all of this stuff, like it's enough of Ohio State having to carry the water for the Big Ten. And I think that's kind of what Coach Day had to do yesterday a little bit. And no Tony Petitti. You literally put it into Google, where is Tony Petitti? Does he talk ever? No one's heard from him. Sankey talks anytime there's a mic. There needs to be a little bit better leadership at the top. Giving him a lot of rein, because I like a lot of the stuff that he's saying, but we need to start to hear it a little bit. All of the pieces matter up in Cleveland. We will explain coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value, so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com. Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
You know that thing you've always been too scared to go for? It seems like you'll never have the guts. Then a cancer diagnosis. And doing that thing becomes way less scary. I would know. I've always wanted a black belt. And today, the only thing standing in my way is a few wooden boards. It's been a lot of hard work and 5 years since I beat cancer at Ohio Health. Bring it on. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans to learn more.
A healthy body needs good food.
This summer, the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce is sponsoring Sun Meals, a summer food program where kids eat free. Children under 18 receive healthy meals and no sign-up is required. Locations may be right in your neighborhood. Call 1-866-348-6479 or visit education.ohio.gov/kidseat for meal locations and times. That's education.ohio.gov/kidseat.
Now's the time to get a great deal on Kubota construction equipment, featuring durable Kubota engines, more comfort, more productivity, more get it done right. The Kubota construction lineup shows up ready to work every day. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for 60 months, or save up to $4,500. Now through June 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Stop by Columbus Equipment in Columbus, Dayton, or Toledo to see their full line of Kubota construction equipment, or check them out online at columbusequipment.com.
Can't get enough of your favorite fan content? Good news, we're on all the digitals. Follow 971 The Fan on X, Facebook, YouTube, The Talk, and Gram. Your digital home for endless shenanigans. The Fan.
Progressive knows when you're in your RV, you're already on vacation. That's when you become Vacation You, who just camped where there's absolutely no shade. Even though regular you burns easily. In fact, Vacation You burns too, but is too stubborn to admit it, which is why regular you gets in trouble at the dermatologist, because Vacation You doesn't do doctors. So bundle your RV with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This Father's Day, help Dad be all he can be with a gift from the Home Depot. Because he's not just Dad, he's the handyman of the house, the plumber in a pinch, and the emergency mechanic. Upgrade his gear this Father's Day with the Husky Mechanics 270-piece tool set from the Home Depot. Now on special buy for $119, a $695 value. For every kind of dad, find the perfect gift this Father's Day at the Home Depot.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, or whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
Fish took it well. He also had a good point, though. He said that and this is 100% true, the Big Ten was started out of geography. I mean, it's a geography conference is what it was. Like, hey, we're all kind of like big state schools. Why don't we all play each other, right? And, yeah. They all were that at one time. That's what they all were. And I think that if you look to the Big Ten and the misstep, it was Rutgers and Maryland. Once that happened.
Rutgers birthed college football.
They did, yeah, from their loins. Once you add those two, and Jim Delaney made the bet that it would be cable buy that would determine the future of a conference rather than football, when that happened, that's when, and it did, it paid immediate dividends, and they're still reaping the benefits of it in large. One of the things that the Big Ten gets a lot of credit for the amount of money it makes in TV, but that money that it makes in TV is almost entirely falls on the responsibility of it on the shoulders of the Buckeyes. It's Ohio State and Michigan. They got to carry it, man. Like, if they were ever in a situation where either of those two programs were down for an extended period, or God forbid, they both had a down, like say they both had bad hires and for a 4 or 5 year period. Actually, we kind of had it a little bit around Tackgate when Ohio State was ineligible for postseason play, and you had like Nebraska against Wisconsin in the Big Ten title game. I mean, that's the reality of if you ever come up a little bit short here. That's what can kind of happen.
So you mean they never captured the New York and Washington, D.C. markets when they got Rutgers and Maryland like they planned on?
I know we have the clip somewhere. We might not. But Dylan, I swear to God, it was AR and I were doing the show. I had Gene Smith on, and I said, I think the question was, I'm paraphrasing, some of the effect of, Gene, I think it's naive to think that either of these two schools that have never been good at football are all of a sudden going to be good because they're in the Big Ten. And Gene, who I like a lot, came right, Bo, I think you're being naive to think that they won't be. Well, here we sit. It's been a long time, and nothing, right? Nothing of substance. They've had nice little runs, but they're not television players in any way. Dylan, I covered the first ever Big Ten game at Maryland. Okay? First ever game there. This was in 14. It was obviously there. I remember thinking to myself, well, this would be interesting. I'm wondering like how we're going to be received here and what is that going to look like? And they have a nice little stadium, cool, really cool campus, all of those things, shadow of the district, all of it. And in those days, newspapers still were a pretty big deal. Not what they were a decade before, but still a pretty big deal. And I went and got the Washington Post on the Saturday of the game. And I thought to myself, well, wow, this is the mighty Buckeyes coming to town. First ever Big Ten home game for Maryland. Where does this rate? It was page 6 of the sports section, and it was about 5-6 paragraphs previewing it. Because it was Nationals, and it was Orioles, and it was Redskins at the time, and it was Ravens.
Wizards.
It was such a distant, it's a pro sports town. I know you asked the question tongue-in-cheek, but I mean, the idea that because Rutgers was adjacent to New York City, it was never about thinking New York City was going to care about Rutgers. It was about making sure that the Big Ten Network was on all of those televisions in Manhattan and on the island. That's what it was about. It was about that population having to pay a premium for cable because they were in the footprint. But the problem was, and this is one of the few things that Rothman and I got right, but we definitely were on this, and you could see it coming, the idea that we were going to consume our football the same way a decade later, entirely dependent on cable, you could see it coming. You could see it. Even 12 years ago, you could see that cord cutting, it was coming then. People were already starting to do it. And so now it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. So they expanded to maximize a cable buy window that was already closing as they intended to do it. And they've benefited financially from it, but they have not benefited at all from a football programming standpoint, which necessitates adding schools that make no damn sense geographically. You had to add Oregon and USC and Washington and UCLA. You had to. Because what was the answer once the SEC added Texas and Oklahoma? It was only Notre Dame and USC. I mean, remember, they didn't want Oregon to begin with. Oregon's at discount. They're in there at discount is their operation. So they don't even get the full pay. But that's it. That's why you added USC, because in the only way you could answer for Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC was Notre Dame and USC. That's it. And they got one of them, and I still think they could pressure Notre Dame, but I don't know when that will actually happen. I think all you'd have to do is say, yeah, we're not going to play you anymore, and that would solve it pretty quickly. None of our teams are going to play you, including USC. So that's how you get there. All right, the Browns are at OTAs, mandatory minicamp next week up there. All 4 quarterbacks running through on the reps. I saw some of this yesterday. Dylan Gabriel got snaps with the 1. Shedeur Sanders did not get snaps with the 1. Pickett got most of the work, Flacco the least of the work, but he doesn't really need to do a whole lot of work either. They kind of know exactly what he is. Tommy Rees is the offensive coordinator. He's in charge of the quarterbacks. He was asked about the 4 quarterbacks competing for quarterback job number 1. Here was his answer to that.
I have, yeah. Maybe not 4, but 3.5, I guess, maybe. Yeah, I mean, look, I think like the misnomer is like this, like the quarterbacks get along most places, right? Like everyone's supporting one another. It's one group. Everyone's pushing ahead and everyone's competing, but everybody's supporting one another. And that's the cool part about being in a quarterback room, is that relationship and understanding how close those guys are and how much they help one another. And look, we're in a selfless business here. We want the team to win, and we all got to support one another to do that.
Yeah, I think I've never seen it in the NFL. Nobody I've talked to has ever seen it in the NFL where there's legitimately four quarterbacks competing for this thing. And, you know, I do think the line from The Wire, which debuted 23 years ago, 2 days ago, is pretty appropriate, and that is that all of the pieces matter. Can Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel win the starting quarterback job right now? No. They can lose it, for sure, if they're wildly unprepared. But they can't win it right now. It's about stacking days. It's about everything they do from the time they walk into the facility to the time they leave. Everything's being watched. Everything's being counted. And if they stack enough of them, they'll get opportunity. So I take notice when Dylan Gabriel gets snaps with the 1s. That's an opportunity. And so When Shedeur gets that, then I'll take notice a little bit of what's happening. He looks great. He throws a great football. You probably saw the clips yesterday. He made a couple of touchdown throws that were big-time throws. And if he keeps stacking those, there's nothing that will preclude him from being the starter, that this is a wide-open competition. It absolutely is. One other thing I would say on this, I know we're up against it, so I'll say it briefly. I think it's very likely they carry all 4 of those quarterbacks to start the year. I don't think they're going to punt on any of them. At least at the start of the year. Second hour of the program up next. We kick it off with the mailbag, and it's full. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
T-Bone and Tyvus are everything you want in a delicious breakfast. Lots of empty calories, no nutritional value.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
Men, is good enough really what you want with your sex life? This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if erectile dysfunction is making for a bad bedroom experience for you and your partner, you should call us because you want your intimacy to be fantastic, both for you and the one you love. At Tri-State Men's Health, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we're a medical practice focused on men's sexual health, we can offer many treatment options and even combine treatments to find the right one for you. Which means if you're like most of our patients, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and make a change from good enough to really good. And for a limited time, we're offering new patients a free first visit to help you get the care you deserve. This includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose to demonstrate to you the amazing effectiveness of our treatments. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you. Tri-State Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
When you're starting a home improvement project, a few big questions always come up. Who can I trust? Will they be there if something goes wrong? And lastly, how much is this going to cost me? At Newman Roofing, we've been answering those questions for over 30 years. As a family-owned and operated company that takes pride in every aspect of the job, with family members involved in each department of the company, we treat your home like it's our own. That means clear communication, no shortcuts, and a white glove experience from start to finish. And when it comes to cost, we get it. That's why we offer flexible financing options so you can get the quality your home needs at a price that works for your budget. Don't just take our word for it. With over 700 5-star reviews on Google, families across Central Ohio are sharing their Newman Roofing experience. For roofing, siding, and gutter solutions built around family, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Hey friends, can you smell it in the air? Summer is here, and nothing hits harder on a hot day than that first sip of a Big Gulp. And right now at Speedway, you can get any size Big Gulp for only 89 cents with Speedy Rewards. They've even got a limited time Mountain Dew Pitch Black if you're mysterious like that, and I know you love mysteries. So swing by Speedway, tap into your Speedy Rewards, and cool down with the ultimate summer classic. Again, just 89 cents. Valid through 6/24/25. See app for full terms.
Hollywood Casino Columbus is bringing the funny this summer. Tiffany Haddish takes the mic on Friday, July 18th with the Funny and Fearless Tour. Then Dion Cole Live hits the stage Friday, September 5th for a night of nonstop laughs. 2 comedy icons, 2 unforgettable nights. Get your friends, grab a drink, and get ready to laugh all night long. Big names, big laughs, only at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Tickets available at Ticketmaster. Visit HollywoodColumbus.com for more details. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
Summer's here, and seasonal businesses are hiring. Everything from hiking guides to surf instructors and more. Whether you're hiring for one of these roles or any other role, you need ZipRecruiter to find qualified candidates fast. ZipRecruiter's smart technology gets to work as soon as you post a job, diving in to find great matches and showing you top picks right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/USL to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/USL.
Brought to you by the Capital One Savor Card. With Savor, you earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining, entertainment, and at grocery stores. That's unlimited cash back on ordering takeout from home or unlimited cash back on tickets to concerts and games. So grab a bite, grab a seat, and earn unlimited 3% cash back with the Savor Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The Edmonton Oilers took a 1-0 lead over the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup Final. Leon Draisaitl scored twice for the Oilers last night. That included a game winner in overtime to lift Edmonton over Florida 4-3 in OT. It was Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. Oilers will host the Panthers for Game 2 on Friday night. In baseball tonight, the Thunder host the Pacers in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Tip-off from OKC is at 8 o'clock. The Thunder will host Game 2 in the best-of-7 on Sunday night. In baseball Wednesday, the Guardians beat the Yankees 4-0. New York's going to host the series rubber match tonight at 7:05. The Reds dropped their series rubber match with the Brewers yesterday 9-1. Cincinnati has Thursday off. They'll begin a series in Arizona tomorrow night against the Diamondbacks. And in the minors, the Clippers beat the Mud Hens 5-2 last night. Columbus will host Toledo again tonight at 7:05. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The friends are the guests and listeners. Reeser and Baker just work here.
Back to work. Back to work. Everybody, work, 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 work.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Before we open the mailbag, just seeing this in the last minute or so, this is very cool. Guillermo Barros-Schelotto will be honored in the Circle of Honor on July 19th down at lower.com. He was unbelievable in the black and gold, and when I first got here, and they won MLS, and he was just such a master. I mean, he controlled the whole field. Like sometimes you'd watch a game and it felt like he didn't move more than 10 yards, and he controlled the whole thing. Everything was on the ball was like on a string connected to his foot. It was unbelievable. So that'll be pretty cool. They're announcing that date on July 19th. So that's very, very good job of the crew and appropriate. All right, time to open up that mailbag. Hit it, fellas.
Our comment box is always open. Any feedback is mostly appreciated.
The mail never stops. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. There's never a let up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more. And you got to get it up. And the more you get out, the more it keeps coming in. Again.
Bishop and Friends present emails.
All right, let's start with this one from Nate. The subject is the Troy Smith-Ted Ginn era. He writes, Bo, it makes me a little sad that you arrived in Columbus when you did, immediately after Troy and Teddy's last game, because you missed one of the most exciting times to be a Buckeye. After that shocking loss to Florida in the championship, Columbus and Buckeye Nation were quite honestly at their lowest point, and that's your first impression. Parenthetically, yeah, it was. Going into the 2006 season, Columbus was absolutely on fire for Buckeye football to a level I hadn't seen before or even since. It was supposed to be the year Troy and Teddy sealed the deal with a championship. It's largely forgotten because of that final loss to Florida, as you've said. Ted Ginn made games so much fun because of his generational speed. He took so many kickoffs and punts back for touchdowns. He was a touchdown waiting to happen. Troy Smith was like Houdini in the pocket, but you didn't see it as much as his amazing escapability his final year because he was so focused on showing the NFL that he was a pocket passer. Of course, the one thing we need out of him in that game against Florida was ability to escape that pass rush, and he just couldn't flip the switch when he had primarily turned it off for much of that final season. The point of this is to let you know just how fun and great the few years before you got here were. Of course, the 2002 championship year was great, but you didn't really have players like Smith and Ginn who are extremely fun to watch. I recommend at least watching highlights of the Michigan game from 2004. I've seen all of this stuff, and I think he does. We touched on this a little bit last week. I think it's a damn good point. I really do. I think that the one thing that you have to remember that I need to be reminded of about this time is that unfortunately it is a little bit forgotten. And I think it is forgotten by that. But I think that if you were here and you lived it, it probably was as much fun as you could have to be a Buckeye fan, because Troy Smith was an electric factory. And it is a shame that run is largely marred by that final game. And ironically enough, that is the first Buckeye game I saw in person. And I was covering it from the other side. But that Florida championship game was the first Ohio State game I ever saw in person. And when Teddy took the opening kickback, you said, this is going to be a rout.
Elation.
Yeah, it's a rout. Yeah, and it is. It sucks, but I suppose that it's a similar thing that a lot of the guys in the 90s felt, right? I mean, like, they're also kind of a little bit, there are those, you can pick the years and you can go because of Michigan or the Michigan State loss or whatever. And it goes back to the thing we talk about all the time, Reese, which is our best teams don't always win. The most talented teams don't always win here.
I think about it like from the Miami perspective in 02, where you had 01, you had all 11 went into the NFL, it felt like. Mm-hmm. And it's forgotten because they went up against a team that everybody leading up to that Fiesta Bowl in 03 were like, they deserve to be on the same field. But you're like, what's this? What's this Ohio State team? Like, who are these guys? It was the same thing Ohio State fans were doing against Florida, because when you had beaten Michigan in the game, it was 1v2. That was the national championship. And you go into Florida, you go, who's this?
Yeah.
Who's this? Who's Florida squad? They got this Tebow guy. All right, they're going to do a double quarterback thing. Like, that's really goofy. Like, this will be a fun game. And then the first play from scrimmage, Ted Ginn goes, and returns it, and you're like, this is going to be 48-6.
Yeah,
and it feels so good, and then it all came crashing down. It all went so wrong that Ohio State fans have probably tried to scrub it from their memory because of how painful that was, and then that was really what set up the SEC for the decade that they had.
And
You're exactly right.
That's to the emailer's point. Scrub it from your memory. And that's what I feel like people have done. And that's why Troy Smith, even though he's a Heisman Trophy winner, he really does not get the love that he deserves, as has been said many times on this station. But yeah.
No, D, we were talking about this. They were doing top 25 players. He wasn't even mentioned. I mean, he won the Heisman by one of the largest margins ever. He's undefeated against Michigan. I mean, man, but does not get that love. And it's an interesting one. And I also think that other era right before 14 is going to kind of fall victim to that too. I think Braxton will be in that scenario. Now, Braxton didn't win the Heisman like Troy did, but he's a two-time Big Ten Player of the Year, and it's going to be one of those things, like, unless you lived it and remembered it and told the stories of that time and how much fun he was to watch, I do think it's going to get missed. I think he'll live on, luckily, forever with that gif in the Virginia Tech game, but I think that it's a little bit similar. This one from Darren Bow and the boys, big fan, listen daily. You mentioned not understanding how Will Howard fell to the 6th round of Pittsburgh earlier this week, but he seems to have landed in a great place. Of the Buckeyes drafted this year, which spot do you like best? I think Will's in a pretty good spot in Pittsburgh. That's for a 6th rounder. I think Jack's in a pretty good spot in Pittsburgh. Feels like he will thrive in a very, very big way, playing in the shadow of T.J. Watt and learning at the feet of T.J. Watt. I think Quinshon Judkins is going to be whatever the Browns' offense is this year. Largely will be what he can provide. I think they love him. I think they are going to lean on him heavily. I think he could be 1,000-yard back in year one in Cleveland. I really think that all of those things are true. I also think Mecca in Tampa is pretty good, playing on the other side of Mike Evans with Bake. I think that's a pretty good spot too. I think a lot of them ended up pretty good spots, Reese.
Yeah, I'm also really interested to see what Travion does with the Patriots. Mm-hmm. Like I'm excited to see how they utilize his skill set, because of the Buckeyes, he's the home run hit. Like he's the absolute home run. I wanted the Browns to get him. I understand from an offensive standpoint why Quinshon made a little bit more sense. Yeah. But those two backs have an opportunity to really impress in their rookie seasons. Donovan Jackson to the Vikings.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Sounds pretty damn great because he can play at several spots on the offensive line. You got a rookie quarterback. If you can help him succeed, you've just set that Vikings organization up for a decade. plus.
I agree with all the names you guys said, but Josh Simmons to the Chiefs as well. I mean, he just immediately filled a hole that they needed on a championship-ready team. Like, that's just a great situation for him.
A lot of them ended up in good spots. I mean, there's nothing that you look at and go, like the one from the previous year, like with Marv, I wasn't crazy about Arizona just because Kyler's an improviser and Marv is an attention to details guy. And I just wasn't sure how all of that would work. All right, we got a bunch more. We may have to do 2 segments here. All right, this one from our good buddy Greg, our buddy from Botkins. Exploring Ohio is the subject matter. Here's the email. Good fellas, a few months ago there was a discussion about how many counties in Ohio each of you have been to. My wonderful father, who graduated with Archie Griffin, has been to almost every county in Ohio. One area of Ohio that I feel the Bishop boys need to explore is Eldora Speedway. Eldora has it all. Mixed drinks called toilet water, high-speed action for the boys, trophy girls in Victory Lane, pit passes so the boys can get autographs. My question for you fellas is, with the boys enjoying Formula One action, why don't you take 2 road trip west to Eldora with the boys? So I was close. I know what Eldora. Do you guys know what Eldora is?
No.
The dirt track out there. So I think Tony Stewart owns it now.
Is that a county or a place?
No, it's a place.
Because when you're saying that, I'm
maybe
like,
a county too.
County?
It might be a county too. I don't know. That's a big hole in my resume. Is south of Toledo, north of Dayton. Like I think Pick was there, and that's about the only. I've been there for a state playoff game, but that's kind of my only point of reference there. And I think Eldora's over there somewhere. But I remember when I was hosting the Track Time show, which was about a weekly racing show that I did on the Ohio News Network. I remember Eldora being a big deal with Tony Stewart, that he would take like big time guys over there and they would race on the dirt track over there, and that it's supposed to be pretty great. But I have not been. But I may. I'm gonna have to do some digging. Greg, you're such a loyal listener, and this seems like a great idea. But so I'll look into this a little bit. But I'm pretty sure Tony Stewart still owns it.
It's New Weston, Ohio, near the line, Ohio and Indiana, south of Coldwater, Darke County.
Oof. Darke County?
Darke.
Oh, that's not code for like no alcohol. That's like the name of the county.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't do. I imagine some counties are probably still technically dry.
Still some dry counties in Ohio. Yeah, that's the hole in my resume. I think the rest of the state I got pretty close to covered, but that part I don't. So Greg, appreciate that. A bunch more. We'll continue this. We'll continue the mailbag coming up next, including Vince with, quite honestly, some of the best advice I've ever gotten. We will share that with you coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic. Oh, yes. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Here, Heart Care helps you heal faster. Advanced, minimally invasive procedures mean less time recovering and more living life. See how we care for all of you at MountCarmelForYou.com.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here, and so are the summer savings at RCD RV. Don't miss RCD RV's summer kickoff sale running June 7th through the 21st. New RVs starting as low as $12,995. Now's the time to make a splash this summer. Hurry in. Those deals will not last long. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at RCDRV.com. Visit our locations, Delaware, Heath, and Pataskala, or shop online anytime at RCDRV.com.
We've discovered the perfect morning ritual, the 2 for $6 breakfast sandwich deal at Tim Hortons. Every sandwich is made to order with a freshly cracked egg and melty cheese, just the way breakfast should be. Choose between savory sausage or hickory smoked bacon, served on a toasted English muffin or flaky biscuit. There's no wrong way to mix and match this tasty deal. 2 breakfast sandwiches, just $6. Perfect. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, single item at regular menu price. Modifications and tax extra. Exclusions and additional terms apply.
With rates as low as 5.54% APR and a $400 cash bonus when you refinance with BMI Federal Credit Union, now is the perfect time to take advantage of the BMI FCU Summer Savings Event. Visit bmifcu.org/refinance for more details.
This summer, Giant Eagle is making a big splash with a carefree summer sweepstakes and your chance to win free groceries for a year. This June, just spend $10 or more shopping for backyard barbecues, road trip essentials, campfire treats, and everything in between. Then swipe your loyalty card for your chance to win. Only at Giant Eagle. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends 6/30/25. For official rules, visit GiantEagleCarefreeSweeps.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. Summer is officially here, and so are the rising temperatures. Before you know it, you'll be wondering what else you can do to keep cool during the dog days of summer. You want to beat the heat and keep the AC in your home? Get Window Nation's energy-efficient vinyl windows. During their semi-annual sale, you can buy 4 windows and get 4 windows free. Plus a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, and no money down, no interest, and no monthly payments until 2027. So how exactly do they keep their prices affordable? It's a great question. Window Nation works directly with the top window manufacturers in the country, which means all their windows are assembled right here in the USA. Plus, their windows come with a lifetime warranty, so you'll keep saving long into the future. Window Nation's semi-annual sale ends soon. So buy 4 windows, get 4 windows free, and a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, plus pay nothing until 2027. Schedule your estimate right now, 866-90-NATION, or visit windownation.com. Once again, that number, 866-90-NATION, or go to their website, windownation.com.
After an audit of our programming, the suits here at The Fan decided we needed more baseball. And that common man is stupid. Good news, we fixed one of those problems. Catch the Reds on The Fan all season long. Yay, baseball!
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding. Over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Did you know 38% of Ohio's teenagers have spent money on gambling in video and online games? Items like mystery boxes, skins, and spin to win mimic gambling, putting children at a higher risk of experiencing a gambling disorder as an adult. So get in the know about youth gambling and start the conversation with discussion guides, parent resources, and more at changethegameohio.org. That's changethegameohio.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today, we will see mostly cloudy skies mixed in with chances of showers and thunderstorms throughout the day. Some could be on the stronger side. Daytime highs topping out in the low 80s, and then for tonight, lows down into the upper 60s with those chances of showers and storms lingering and continuing into Friday with our highs in the low 80s. And again, those chances of rain will be on and off. Otherwise, expect skies to be cloudy. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
All the Ohio State conversation you can handle. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
Your Ohio State flagship station. The Fan. The final season of Yellowstone might just be Bo's dad live on YouTube. What's the difference anyway? This is Bishop and Friends.
And we are sponsored and proudly by our great friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for over 78 years. I don't know what, I know what made me think of this. Sam Monson, our old buddy, used to be a PFF. He's with 33rd team now, I think. He tweeted out that he's into Westerns, and he was looking for like a list. And so I had tweeted him a list of Westerns that I liked. And then randomly, I was just thinking about the fact, and that rejoin made me think about it more, that in was it the second to last episode of Yellowstone, Taylor Sheridan did an entire show just this is how cool I am and I want you to watch it.
It was in the second
entire episode.
The second part of the final season, so
I mean it was just
I don't know if
either the second to last or third to last episode was just him. Look how cool I am.
Yeah, whichever one where Beth had to go and say, "Hey, we're going to sell our horses. Play poker with me, dear."
Which made no sense. None of that made any damn sense at all. They really butchered that. They really butchered the end of it. All right, more from the mailbag. Lots to get to today. Let's start with this one from Vince. Vince writes, and I got it. It's pretty good. Subject: wife wanting rubber stamp. Vince writes, when your wife texted saying that your son wanted a sleepover, you guys concluded that she was wanting you to rubber stamp her decision. She had probably said yes, but she wasn't admitting it to you. If there is an incident, she has deniability because you are the green light of record. The next time she does it, your response needs to be, what did you tell him? This makes her go on the record. One of the standard counters in the mom training manual is, I told him, go ask your father. The appropriate counter to this for you is, well, he hasn't asked me yet. If your son thinks it might not happen, he will throw her under the bus and tell you, but mom already said yes. I don't know if Vince is an attorney, but I want him representing me.
So good.
Do you know how good that is? I mean, I feel like I've solved everything that there is to know, or at least I try. I mean, we've been through a lot. This is an unbelievable response. Well, what did you tell him? It's on the record. That's great. That's a very, very good job. A very, very good job out of my guy Vince, and I appreciate that.
I need to co-sign that one even more. Even with like co-parenting, with parents with the kids, they're not together.
Yeah.
In order to keep that relationship strong, you need to make sure you are not giving conflicting information or anything like that to the kid, or it's just going to be a battle in the long run that is not worth it.
How old's your daughter?
She's 6.
Dude.
We're just getting into the fun stuff.
Just you wait. Just you wait. 6th grade, 7th grade, man. They're master manipulators.
I feel like I'm already there. But I'm sure she'll just get better.
Oh, yeah, she's going to be an ace at it for sure. This one from Matt. Bishop and friends, love the show, need some help. I have to address a large group in the company I work for next week. I'm not crazy about talking in public, so I thought I'd go to the experts. And I do like how he did put experts like in quotation marks, which I thought was nice.
It's a good move out of him.
Very loosely phrase experts. What advice do you have for speaking in front of large groups? What's the largest group you guys have ever spoken in front of, other than obviously this audience? But this is different, I think.
This is much different because you don't see the entire audience. I think I've done this. Had have been back in college. You speak in front of a group of like 200 maybe at a lecture hall.
Yeah.
That's probably the largest. So maybe like 200 seats in the lecture hall, 120 people.
Before I worked here, I worked at a music formatted station. We used to do concerts and stage announcements. So probably like 3,000 or 4,000.
Yeah. And it's different, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's very different. So I'm guessing he's not going to, unless he doesn't say the company. So I don't know how big it is. But so I'm guessing it's not 3,000 or 4,000. But it is very different. I mean, obviously there are millions and millions listening as we do this show live, but they're not standing in front of you. So all of a sudden, when they're standing in front of you, it's pretty crazy. And I've had to do this. I've had to do some of this a lot. The first one I remember of being absolutely terrified, it was at Billings Metro in Billings, Montana. And I had to speak at the start of the PBR, which is the bull riding rodeo. And I had to go represent our station and do a quick, it was like a 3 or 4 minute little kind of thing. And nobody wants to hear you at all. They just want to get to the bulls. They're not interested in what you have to say. Let's move it along a little bit. And so that was one I remember being terrified for. My advice on speaking in public is don't memorize. I think that's the most important thing. At least it works for me. Some people memorize. I'm not a memorizer. I don't know how you guys do it. I think that think of it this way. Think of it as a roadmap. So what I do is, here's where I'm starting. Here's the bulk of the road trip, and this is how it has to end. This is when it has to end. So have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Have certain points that will get you from one point to the next. But do not, if it's an ad-lib situation, like if you're doing PowerPoint, that's much, much different because you have things you can reference. But if you're just speaking, then know the certain things, remember the things that you have to hit, and know your beginning, your middle, and the end, but don't memorize. Because when I see people memorize, if they get a word wrong or a phrase wrong or a phrase out of order, it just sends it off the rails. So I think memorization in that is a recipe for failure. I know some people do it. It never worked for me. I was always bullet point guy.
Yeah, I know that. So in trying to remember things, I know Tyvis and I did our little shtick 2 years ago at the Ohio State 4-miler. So there were a couple of thousand people there, and I just remember thinking to myself, know where you want to go.
Know the road.
Know where you want to end up, and it was making fun of Tyvis for not stretching and how the thousands in attendance needed to stretch because if you're old like me, it's so important.
I would say that 9 times out of the 10, the people you're speaking in front of aren't taking your speech as seriously as you are. Like, so just calm down. Like, they're not there to critique you. Half the time, they probably don't even want to listen to what you have to say anyway. So just don't take it too seriously, because the people in attendance probably aren't taking it serious either.
Yeah, for sure. That's a very good point. Like, no one is as jacked up about it as you are. You're good. Okay, finally, last one. This one from Brett. Bo and the boys. I'm convinced the job I currently have is the worst job I'll ever have. No names. What is the worst job you've ever had, and did you know it while you were doing it? Yes, I did. I have a definite. I knew it. It's the worst. It was Intercontinental Truck Body. My parents thought it would be a good idea after my senior year of high school to like go work in a pretty tough spot and to learn a little character, so I'd be properly motivated for higher learning. And boy, did it work. It was 4 a.m. is when we had to get there. You had to clock in and clock out. My job at Intercontinental Truck Body was to weld parts for trucks that would then be put, like cargo boxes would go on to trucks. That was my job. So all day long, I cut metal, steel, and then welded it. That was the job. And you had to be there at 4 o'clock in the morning. Lunch was at 8. It was the suckiest thing ever. I knew it right away. I was probably 30 minutes into my first day, and I went, this sucks. I cannot believe that I'm going to have to do this all summer. And I remember they're like, oh, the pay's really good, and it probably was, but there was no pay that would have made it worth it. I mean, if they paid me $700,000 an hour, it would have been the worst job ever. And I probably would have quit. The only saving grace was I got mono, and that allowed for me to quit. So I only had to do it for like a month and a half. I've never been so excited to get mono. I did like 3 weeks in the hospital. It was like a vacation. Or 3 days in the hospital. It was like a vacation, like the IV, all of it. I couldn't have been more excited. It was the best case of sickness I ever got was that job. So that was it for sure. What do you guys got?
So OU did, back when they had quarters, or back when they were on the quarter system, they had like a month break in the winter. And I parked cars at the Columbus Zoo for wild lights. And so when you ask yourself, Eric, why are you so anti-Columbus drivers? Well, that was kind of where it started to bubble. My disdain grew from there.
I do love wild lights. It's pretty great.
I haven't really had that many jobs outside of radio, but I remember right after I graduated high school, I wanted, money for the summer, and I worked at a gas station for the summer, but my shift was first shift, and after 3 months, I decided that I didn't want to wake up at 5:30 in the morning anymore just to make a few dollars, and I kind of no-showed. I was just like, I'm done doing this, and I think for karma, my first big break in radio was doing mornings, producing mornings, and had to wake up even earlier than for years.
I'll ask Paul Feinbaum what his worst job of all time was. He joins us in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, I remember you saying that a family business should reflect family values, that a customer deserves to be treated with kindness and compassion.
And those values will never change. The reputation you built for being fair and honest is our greatest asset.
In fact, in 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for ethics and named the Lennox Partner of the Year.
You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind. It's an honor to continue serving Central Ohio as a locally owned, family-run business.
So, whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just honest advice, Care is here for you.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
This Father's Day at Lowe's, score free gifts for the greatest dad. Right now, get a free Blackstone 8-piece accessory kit when you buy a Blackstone 28-inch griddle. Plus, get 2 free select Craftsman V20 tools when you buy an RP brushless drill and impact driver combo kit. Shop these deals and more this Father's Day at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 6/15 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you work so hard for? Now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Bishop and Friends present college football's most polarizing figure.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Come on back to our show, Tim. The audience hates you.
This is ESPN's Paul Feinbaum, sponsored by the Roofing Guys. For all your roofing, siding, and gutter needs, contact the Roofing Guys at theroofingguys.com.
And he joins every week at this time on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. All right, Paul, I got an email. We did a little email segment here before you came on. It was asked the worst job that I ever had, and I promised the audience I would ask you, what is the worst job you ever had as a kid, in college? Is there anything that jumps out?
Yeah, I'm going to have to break some news here today, Bo. My very first job, I wasn't even 16 yet, but friend of a friend, I got a job at McDonald's. And about 6 months later, I resigned to pursue other interests, and they issued a statement saying that we wish Mr. Feinbaum well in his future endeavors. In other words, I was fired from McDonald's, and the reason I was fired is that I didn't realize you couldn't give your friends free burgers and fries when they came in.
It's a business, Paul. I mean, I'm running a business.
We were 16, okay?
See, they used to work in those days, right? I mean, you go get a job, buddy. That's the way that it works. Hey, I wish Tony Petitti would do his job. I'm trying to track this guy down. I got Ryan Day carrying water for the 4-4 model versus the 5+11 model. In the meantime, I haven't heard Petitti in weeks. This has kind of been the talking point here the last week of the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12 for the 5+11, and the Big 10 really wanting the 4 auto qualifiers. And I don't think Ryan Day needs to carry this water. I think Ohio State's going to be fine 99.9% out of the time. But I am curious where Tony Petitti is in all of this. I know primarily you're dealing with Sankey and the conferences down there, but are you surprised that he hasn't been a little bit more vocal this offseason with so many big decisions trying to be made?
I am. My friend John Talty from CBS Sports was at the Big Ten spring meetings, and he said Petitti never spoke to the media. Now, Sankey probably spoke too much, but that's who he is. He's very transparent. And, back to what Ryan Day said, Ryan Day doesn't need to be saying that. I heard from some very prominent person in intercollegiate athletics last night asking me, what is Ryan Day smoking? Now, by the way, Ryan Day has every right to say what he did, and I talked to Scott Docterman yesterday who supported what he's saying in his article in The Athletic, but he shouldn't be the front man for the league. No. Tony Petitti should, and I think everybody else is really pretty upset about this. I know there's a big contest. I think it's next week in Asheville, North Carolina, where the CFP meets, and maybe Petitti will speak there, but he's not helping the cause.
No, and it's the damnedest thing, and it's one of those things where Ohio State has to carry the water for that league. If you think about the 2020 COVID season, it takes Justin Fields going on the Today Show to say, hey, I want to play football, for Kevin Warren to kind of reverse course. So there's that's out there. Certainly Gene Smith many times has fought battles. I had Gene Smith come on the air with me and say that the Rutgers, Maryland thing was actually a football decision. He said it with a straight face. I said, Gene, you don't believe that. What are we talking about? And so this is something that Ohio State has done for a long time. I tend to think that they don't need to do it. In those meetings, do you think this will be, obviously those two conferences are going to, they need to kumbaya, because if anything's going to get done, it's going to be those two conferences doing it. But it seems like Sankey has the Big 12 and the ACC, for whatever power they have, he has them behind him with this 5+11 model.
He does. There's no question. And I wonder, and I think this was the issue yesterday on our show with some people, and I know you're talking about it. Is there a rift? I'm just throwing that up there rhetorically. I don't know. When I talked to Sankey, which is now a week ago, he didn't indicate that. He was far more angry at the Big 12 and the ACC. But Destin didn't go well for the Big Ten SEC relationship. Knowing Sankey, I feel pretty confident in saying that he and Petitti are working behind the scenes. That's the reason for the relationship. That's why it was established. And if, by the way, if the president of the United States can be on the phone this morning with the premier of China, I think the SEC and the Big Ten can and certainly are talking right now.
Yeah, you certainly hope so, because they're going to be the ones that make all of this thing go. I've seen some. We looking at some of the early rankings, and obviously everyone's eyes will be on Texas Ohio State when that game is played. But one of the things that you and I have talked about a little, and I wanted to kind of dig in on it a little bit here, is it does feel like Texas is going to start the year probably number one in the country, and they might deserve to be the number one team in the country. But it did get me thinking about the amount of expectation and pressure that fall on the shoulders of Arch Manning. And I was trying to think, I can't, because you got to remember, and you know this obviously, but just for our audience, like because of injury, Peyton ended up starting right away at Tennessee. Didn't he go into the UCLA game and was ready to go? And then Eli didn't play right away, but then I want to say redshirted, and then the rest was history. Arch has done this now in a different era. He started a couple of games, but it's almost like if he doesn't win the Heisman, Texas doesn't win the national championship, and he doesn't go number one in the draft in 2 years, then what was all this about?
By the way, Peyton came into that game to replace an injured Hall of Famer, baseball Hall of Famer, not football, Todd Helton.
Right.
So he never got his job back. But I think this is probably as much pressure as I've ever seen. Even Tebow came in on third and fourth down for a five-star back in the day at the University of Florida. So it is the reason I think he is prepared. He's been there so long. And I give him tremendous credit. And any other player would have left last year when Ewers came back for a final year, which I still haven't quite figured out. Ewers' whole career makes no sense to me.
No, I agree.
But I think Arch. I don't think the environment will intimidate him. I think a few times last year he looked shaky when he came in. But I hate to say it's in the DNA, but it is, Bo, in the DNA of this kid.
The thing that's crazy, that'll be interesting to me, like if he comes out and let's say he wins here in the opener and he plays great, if that happens, and if he has, he didn't have to win the Heisman or anything like that, but if he has a great season next year, I can't help but wonder why he didn't play more last year. Was there some just kind of agreement with everybody down there that no matter what, Quinn Ewers was going to start?
There was a blind loyalty by Sarkisian to Ewers, and I've never understood it. I was walking around at halftime on the field of the Ohio State game, and because you've been there a million times, they have on-the-field boxes at Jerry's World, and I can't tell you how many Texas fat cats. And listen, if you have a box on the field, you're a fat cat. Yelled at me and said, "Hey, how come Archie isn't in there?" And by the way, it wasn't like the game was over. Quinn Ewers, to me, was injured most of the season. Sarkisian gave him credit for a couple of big wins, and I just think in the end he couldn't pull the trigger. Much like another situation, Kalen DeBoer should have yanked Jalen Milroe last year a couple of times, but he won the Georgia game, so he was loyal to him.
Yeah, sometimes that blind loyalty will get you. Talking to the great Paul Feinbaum, the Paul Feinbaum Show on ESPN, of course. The other kind of news this week is that Clemson and Florida State are going to play nice with the ACC and vice versa. When I looked at the buyout numbers and how those go down, I'm starting to say, well, this is really possible now to get out of this thing. And I always wondered if that number was going to be there. Look into your crystal ball for me. What is the future of Florida State and Clemson and the ACC over the next 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, I think the ACC has tried to ameliorate those feelings because there was too much tension. The real question is, where are they going to go? Bo, now, I know the SEC right now doesn't want either one of them. Now, will that change if the Big Ten makes a move? But I asked you if you could speak for Tony Petitti. What good does either one? I mean, I know you get into the state of Florida with Florida State. And that's the value. Clemson, to me, doesn't offer anything. They're a good name in football. They've won some championships, but nobody's turning on the TV just because Clemson's playing a football game.
No, and I guess I will speak for Tony Petitti because he won't speak for himself. I think the team that they would want if this crumbles is North Carolina. I think if the Big Ten had its druthers, they'd want North Carolina and Notre Dame, and I think they'd be very, very satisfied with that. So, but in the meantime, I got buddies of mine who are pretty connected down in Tallahassee who swear to me. I got a buddy who texts me, Paul, every 3 months or so and says, I can't wait to be playing in the Big Ten in 2028. And I'm like, I don't know what you're smoking down there, brother, but I have never heard anybody up here ever say that there is a want for Florida State in the Big Ten. Never, Paul.
I sat at a dinner a couple of months ago with one of the guys on the Florida State Board of Trustees, and they were talking big, but they always talk big.
They do.
I mean, we had one of their former players on about 2 years ago who's on the trustees, and he was just talking smack. But look what happened; they backed down. I don't think they can back it up. I don't think Florida State offers very much. You're right. I'm sitting here in the largest city in North Carolina right now, and the University of North Carolina is very valuable, not because of all the jokes about Jordan Hudson and the basketball program that was once good, but it's just it's an important state. It's got a tremendous following, and you can get players here, and they can be competitive, and it's also a brand.
The SEC would want them, right, too?
100%. If they said today we're available, we have our buyout worked out, they would be the first pick. And what's interesting is what happens after that. I've actually heard from people saying they might be interested in Virginia. As crazy as that sounds, I don't think they offer very much. But remember, Bo, presidents are at the table, and UVA resonates.
It does, and that would honestly be another one that the Big Ten, as you know, that would be another one that they would have a great deal of interest in as well. Yeah, sometimes there's a disconnect between what fans want and looking at the football and the presidents and the decisions that they make. Boy, you at McDonald's, buddy, God bless you. God bless you and the free milkshakes and burgers. That's awesome. Thanks for your time, pal.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Bo.
There he goes, the great Paul Feinbaum, the Paul Feinbaum Show on ESPN, SEC Network on the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We'll do a little thing or not a thing up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on the Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or at your local CVS.
Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Jerry. Hey, Aaron. Hey, it's that time of year again. What time is that? The time all the air conditioners start breaking down. Oh, that time. Yep, every year.
Get Eco.
ECO. Like a swarm of bees. They all get together in a coordinated effort. You mean the Queen air conditioner tells them all to break down? Nah, they just get tuckered out in the heat, Aaron. Can we handle all the calls? Sure, we have a swarm of highly trained coolness experts standing by.
Get Eco.
ECO. And we have $3.5 million in new service trucks to get them there the day you call. The same day? Well, what if you don't call until... We'll come as late as you'll stay up to let us in. Same day. That explains all the revving engines. It's like a beehive of activity, Jerry. Do you know I invented that weird Scoopy thing you serve honey with? You should invent something for ketchup, Jerry. It's America. Ooh, now that's an idea.
Get Eco.
ECO. GetEco.com.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value, so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Now's the time to get a great deal on Kubota construction equipment featuring durable Kubota engines, more comfort, more productivity, more get it done right. The Kubota construction lineup shows up ready to work every day. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for 60 months, or save up to $4,500. Now through June 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Stop by Columbus Equipment in Columbus, Dayton, or Toledo to see their full line of Kubota construction equipment, or check them out online at ColumbusEquipment.com.
A healthy body needs good food.
This summer, the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce is sponsoring Sun Meals, a summer food program where kids eat free. Children under 18 receive healthy meals and no sign-up is required. Locations may be right in your neighborhood. Call 1-866-348-6479 or visit education.ohio.gov/kidseat for meal locations and times. That's education.ohio.gov/kidseat.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows? Oh no. Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now.
Summer 2025 is bringing something wild to your Columbus Zoo. The all-new North America Trek opens this summer, a reimagined zoo region inspired by your national parks. Get ready to get up close with Mexican wolves, black bears, river otters, bald eagles, and more in breathtaking new habitats. Discover local wildlife and conservation in action like never before. Plan your visit today. Visit columbuszoo.org for details.
Did you want information on the Ohio Lottery's Easy Play games? Okay. Easy Play games have everything needed to play printed on the ticket, so you never wait for a drawing. And with Easy Play Progressive games, they can instantly win the game's jackpot, which oftentimes grow and grow to over $1 million. All lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly. Want another commercial? Okay.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a Thursday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Following Scotty Scheffler's win last weekend at the Memorial Tournament, FanDuel sent a tweet out that said, since May 4th, Scotty Scheffler has the same amount of wins as the Colorado Rockies. 3 wins for Scotty Scheffler since May 4th, 3 wins for the Rockies since May 4th. Well, don't look now. The Rockies beat the Marlins yesterday 3-2. They sweep that 3-game series in Miami and are now 12-50 on the season. So the Chicago White Sox better watch out. At 19-43, the White Sox slowly losing that second to last place finish. But after their win last night against the Miami Marlins, the Colorado Rockies sent out this tweet. Win since June 2nd. Colorado Rockies 3. Scotty Scheffler 0. Ooh. Thing or not a thing?
Where do you guys land on that? I mean, it's not a thing to me. I didn't see it. But where do we land on team social media getting cutesy amidst losing? Because they have a job. Their job is to create interactions with the fan base. The counter of that is oftentimes if it's going poorly, those interactions will be incredibly negative. So is it a situation where even if it's negative, any interaction is good interaction? Is that the thinking on here?
I think for the social media admins, yes. If I can get you to interact with us at all in any way, shape, or form, like you got a Columbus radio station talking about it, because it's a sad thing that the Rockies are that bad as a professional baseball team in Colorado.
Yeah, I feel like social media is gauged on engagements, and there's no way to tell whether that's positive or negative. It's kind of like the good publicity, bad publicity. Is there any such thing as bad publicity? There's no such thing as a bad engagement on social media for people strictly looking at their social media numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'm old school, but I don't know that they used to say all press is good press, all publicity is good publicity. I don't know that all interaction is good interaction, though. So I think it's a fine line to walk as they're trying to sort it out. But I get where you guys are coming from.
As someone who gets on social media just to read the negative comments, I can back that up. It's all good.
Yeah.
Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara is going to host 6 matches in the upcoming FIFA World Cup. That's in 2026. 5 group stage matches, June 13th, 16th, 19th, and 22nd, and 1 in the knockout round, which is on July 1st. On Wednesday, the San Francisco Chronicle reported the revised California budget for 2026 includes no state funding for those 6 matches. The 49ers previously agreed to cover a $37 million deficit for the Bay Area Host Committee if that committee fails to raise enough money to conduct the matches at Levi Stadium. The host committee has been seeking private donations. Both the committee and the 49ers have been lobbying the government for more funding. The event is expected to cost $50 million to stage, so 37 and 50. Projects right now expected to lose money. Thing or not a thing?
You can say what you will about the state of California, and obviously opinions vary on that. We end up going there once a year and love it. But I understand how you would have a different opinion on it. I get that too. Here's what I think this is an opinion, just fact. That state is done paying for sports. They've been done paying for sports for a while. They're not going to give you money for your stadiums. They're not going to give you money for your arenas. They're not going to give you money for, you want to move? Go ahead. Go ahead, Oakland Raiders. Go ahead, Oakland A's. Enjoy yourselves. Go ahead, Los Angeles Chargers. This isn't coincidence that the most migration we see is either teams out of the state of California or within the state of California. And in many instances, in the instances I just mentioned, it's because the state is not giving any money to them to build new stadiums. They're going to all have to be privately financed. So this amount of money you can find in the cushions of the couch of the San Francisco 49ers if they want to do this. It's very easy for them to just cover this. But I think it's a good thing that they said, look, you guys want to host it? You come up with the money.
I guess it's not a thing for me, mainly because I'm the last person you should ask about economics in that sense. But I feel like, isn't just having the World Cup at your stadium worth it in and of itself? Like, just to be like, hey, like, half the world is watching these games at this stadium. I feel like that's worth it by itself. I don't know. But like I said, I'm the last person to ask about economics. Maybe it's not worth the money.
In advance of tonight's NBA Finals Game 1 between the Thunder and the Pacers, League Commissioner Adam Silver joined Fox Sports Breakfast Ball yesterday and had some words for those who think the small market NBA Finals won't be compelling to a national audience.
It's one thing I really admire about the NFL. I mean, if we were going into a Super Bowl and it was Packers against Steelers, you guys would be celebrating that. Those would be storied franchises. People wouldn't be talking about, the fact that Pittsburgh is a small market. So in fact, I'm happy whatever team ends up in the finals, but it's been intentional from our standpoint to create a system, a collective bargaining agreement that allows more teams to compete. And just by way of background, we're going to have to go through a process of getting to the point where people are accustomed to tuning into the finals because it's the two teams that deserve to be there, and it's the best basketball. Similar to, again, with the Super Bowl, if I asked somebody if they were going to watch the Super Bowl, they wouldn't say who's playing. It's a national holiday, and now that's nirvana.
That's the goal.
I'm not saying we're anywhere close to that yet. There's still, if the Knicks are in the finals, there's a segment of our fan base that's going to watch that may not watch if it's other teams. But my job is to get people to love and follow this game, and so that if you're a huge basketball fan, you should want to tune into the finals because that's the best basketball.
Thing or not a thing?
Man, there's a lot in that answer. There's a lot there. It's funny, like he compares it to the NFL and then backtracks and says we're not there yet. You're not going to get there in this country. Like that, those times have passed. And this has kind of been my working theory on the NBA, the NHL, Major League Baseball, really for the last, decade, is that those leagues have become incredibly regional. You care about your team. You don't care about the league at large. The NFL is national. Oddly enough, the most regional of all sports, college football, has become more national, where we care about what's happening in other parts of the country. But what we've seen from a viewership standpoint is if your team's not in it, you don't watch. And there are certain instances where that kind of crosses over. For example, last year in the World Series, they had Yankees-Dodgers. That's going to track. That is going to track. There's no question that if it was the Lakers and Yankees or Lakers and Mets tonight, for example, instead of playing Oklahoma City and Indiana, the audience would be much, much bigger. This is a sport that, with David Stern's help, was built on star power. It was on individual players. They built it on Magic and Bird, and then Michael took it to another level. And it's been Kobe, and it's been LeBron, and it's been Steph. And they held on to that maybe too long without curating these other players. And I think that's what gets them in the predicament they're in today.
I would say it's not a thing because what else is the commissioner of the NBA supposed to say in that situation? Yeah. I mean, but he is wrong to compare it to the NFL because, like you said, he said no one asks who's playing in the Super Bowl. That's because no one cares who's playing in the Super Bowl because it's an event. It has nothing to do with the teams that are playing, why people watch the NFL. The NFL is just supreme. It's just more popular. People are going to watch it no matter what. And the circumstances do dictate whether people want to watch the NBA Finals. And a lot of people aren't going to want to watch this one because it's Oklahoma City and Indiana.
I do relate to the commissioner a little bit there because as he's talking in the first part of the cut about Pittsburgh and a small market team, he's probably realizing in the back of his head, I'm saying something really stupid. When that happens to me, like I'm in the middle of it, there'll be times where like, how do I get myself out of this? Because this is really dumb that's coming out of my mouth right now. And he did a good job, I think, of backtracking, saying, well, we're not quite there yet. But the idea that, Pittsburgh and Green Bay, it's like the market's not important here. It's the legacy of the teams. Oh, yeah. And to Dylan's point, it's the Super Bowl. You're not that.
No. And he knows it. Final hour of the program up next. Buckeye Hall of Famer Scooney Penn going to join us at 11:30 to get you set for the NBA Finals. Talk a little hoops with Scoon coming up at 11:30. We'll do a little higher and lower next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Just when you thought afternoons couldn't get any dumber.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Common Man and Tinley.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Your home for dumb. The Fan.
Psst. Hey, you. Wouldn't a Diet Coke at 7 a.m. totally hit? You know you can get that from Wendy's for just $1, right? Even you, girl drinking a Fanta on the way to 8 a.m. Pilates class. Any soda you want, any size, just $1. So go get that breakfast soda, you morning menace. But maybe hurry, because it's only during breakfast. Morning soda, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours. Exclusions apply. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Hawaii.
Joining us on this episode are real Spectrum customers, Monique and Greg. We hear your family is a big fan of Spectrum.
Family of 4, we have about 18 devices last time I counted.
2 teams require a lot of speed. Everything they do is online.
There's gaming, there's streaming. Spectrum is perfect for us. I mean, it just seamlessly connects all our devices with lightning speed.
Sounds like Spectrum is really committed to keeping you connected.
It's amazing.
This Father's Day at Lowe's, score free gifts for the greatest dad. Right now, get a free Blackstone 8-piece accessory kit when you buy a Blackstone 28-inch griddle. Plus, get 2 free select Craftsman V20 tools when you buy an RP brushless drill and impact driver combo kit. Shop these deals and more this Father's Day at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 6/15 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Want to see what loan options you qualify for without impacting your credit score? CME Federal Credit Union makes it easy. You'll get access to tailored loan options, no strings attached. It's simple, secure, and stress-free, just how it should be. Visit CMEFCU.org to take the first step towards your financial goals today. Terms and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
Don't settle for ordinary this summer when adventure awaits. Make memories that will last forever only at your Columbus Zoo and Aquarium, Central Ohio's family destination for fun. Plan your perfect summer trip at columbuszoo.org.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate
today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
If you've ever sprained a thumb because you can't get this dumb garage door to open, we are Deluxe Door Systems. For 30 years, we've fixed crappy garage doors straightforward, honest, and for less than you think. DeluxeDoorSystems.com.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty here. It's time to turn things up a notch. This summer, don't binge watch shows, binge s'mores by the campfire. Press pause on the podcast and press play on warm weather vibes. Here's your chance to win $10,000 for your ultimate summer. What are you waiting for? Take a shot with 5-Hour Energy and make this summer your best summer ever. Visit 5HEShot.com for full details and rules to enter today. No purchase necessary. Ends June 30th, 2025.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
To...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The NBA Finals begin tonight in Oklahoma City. The Thunder host the Pacers in Game 1 at 8 o'clock. OKC will host Indiana in Game 2 on Sunday before the series heads to Indianapolis for Game 3 next Wednesday. In the NHL, the Oilers beat the Panthers 4-3 last night in overtime to take a 1-0 lead in the Stanley Cup Final. Edmonton forward Leon Draisaitl scored twice in the win, including the game winner with 30 seconds left in OT. Edmonton's going to host Game 2 on Friday. In baseball, the Yankees host the Guardians tonight at 7:05 in the rubber match of their 3-game series. Cleveland shut out New York last night 4-0. They'll host Houston on Friday. As for the Reds, Cincinnati dropped 2-3 this week to the Brewers. Redlegs are off Thursday. They're in Arizona tomorrow against the Diamondbacks. And over at Huntington Park, the Clippers look to make it 3 straight, hosting the Toledo Mud Hens tonight at 7:05. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Our top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here. A real treat for you. Buckeye Hall of Famer Scooney Penn going to join us in about 28 minutes. It's been a minute since we've heard from 1212, so I look forward to talking to him. We'd asked the question earlier on our personal poll. As a kid, which day did you enjoy more? Which day were you more excited for? Christmas morning, last day of school. Had some people weighing in. Troy said this is a real Sophie's Choice, Bo. A couple other ones weighing in on this. This one from Brian. Christmas morning is one day, a big day, sure. Last day of school is the last step towards weeks and weeks of just doing nothing. By the way, Reese, Tyler wants to know if your chair has been set up on the parade route.
Not yet.
When does that come for you? I mean, you're less than a month out.
So I've actually been slacking a little bit this year because it was supposed to be Memorial Day weekend. So this is a bad Gold Bear job out of me. But once I get it up, don't touch my chair. I touch you.
All right, time for a little higher or lower. Go ahead.
Bishop and Friends present Higher or Lower.
Sponsored by the Waterworks. Call the Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling today at 614-232-2222 or visit online at thewaterworks.com.
This is my favorite, I think, of the NFL milk. I love this NFL music. This song is so good.
Today's higher or lower comes to us from CBS Sports. Jeff Kerr ranked all the divisions in the offseason. So we've got some divisional power rankings for you on this Thursday.
All right.
You want to start at the top or go to the bottom?
Well, let's. So I have not looked at this.
Ooh.
I haven't looked at this list. I think the appropriate. Let's say the ones that we think should be at the bottom and see if that matches up, and then you can go from the top to do higher or lower. I think the worst division in football is the NFC South.
I agree.
Yes.
Does he concur?
He does not. He says it's the AFC South at 8.
So they're second. they're second. I just think the ceiling's higher there with CJ in Houston and potentially some competent coaching in Jacksonville and Cam Ward. I think the ceiling's higher in the AFC South than it is in the NFC North. For example, I don't think there's a single team in the NFC South that if they won the Super Bowl, they wouldn't be like, wait, what just happened? Like, it would be so out of the blue for any of those teams to win the Super Bowl. Whereas in the South, like CJ year 3 with that roster, could I see them? I mean, it's tougher to win the AFC, obviously, but I think that there's a little bit more of a higher ceiling there in the South.
I agree with you, but to the list's point, 2 through 4 might be worse in the AFC South than it is in the NFC South, but it's very debatable. I'm not arguing with him saying that the AFC South is the worst division. I think it's the NFC South, but it could be either or.
I have more belief, I guess, maybe I have more belief in Trevor Lawrence than I should, because I like that Jacksonville roster, and I don't understand why they haven't had more success. Maybe he's just not good. I don't know. But I keep thinking at some point he's going to get good coaching because they have weapons. Their defense got Travis Hunter. To me, they should be a playoff team. They went 4-13 last year. Now, obviously, he got hurt, but that's part of it. All right, Reese, go ahead.
Well, CBS Sports does use their combined record from last season. So for the NFC South, it was 28-40. For the AFC South, it was 25-43.
Jacksonville and Tennessee want to combine 7 games.
Yeah. I did think it was interesting because isn't this the point where you get to throw out the teams are 500 against each other intra-division play? But that isn't the case. The NFC South 16-28 against each other. AFC South 13-31 to your point. So at 5, he's got the NFC West. Higher or lower for the NFC West at 5?
So he's got AFC South worst, NFC South second to worst, and then he's got NFC West?
Correct.
So I think this one might be. So then I think it's between NFC West. For me, it's between NFC West and then is it AFC East next? Am I ready to crown? Because the bottom there is pretty bad too. I think the NFC West is better than this. I think they should be ranked higher. I think the Rams could be real Super Bowl contenders with adding Devontae Adams and what they've done in the draft, and Stafford back for another year and healthy. Seattle went 10-7 last year with Geno. I have no reason to believe they can't be in that vicinity with Darnold. Arizona is 8-9, but would it shock you if they won 11 games? I don't think so. And San Francisco's not going 6-11 again. I know they had a lot of roster turnover, but it's still Kyle. It's still Purdy. It's still everybody else. I think the NFC West should be ranked higher than 5th.
I think it should be higher as well. I think it's better than both the NFC East and the AFC East.
So maybe the NFC West, too.
It's interesting. The NFC West, the combined record of the 4 teams, 34-34. The interdivisional record, 22-22. So 500 combined for both outside the division and in the division. At 4 on this, the AFC North. Higher or lower for the AFC North at 4?
That's stupid. The AFC North should be first or second, toughest. There's no scenario where they're anywhere in the vicinity of this. They have 2 teams for sure who are Super Bowl contenders in Cincinnati and Baltimore. I understand Cincinnati went 9-8 last year. They won their last 5. They have to go an absurdly brutal start. They're running everything back. Nobody would have wanted to play to them if they got in. And Pittsburgh wins 10 games every year, and I do think they're going to end up with Rodgers, so they're going to win that again. And I think Cleveland's going to be better than 3-14. I think the AFC North should either be the first or second toughest. This is way too low for the AFC North.
Yeah, I agree. I think our perception of Pittsburgh might be a little off based off of their track record, but I still think it should be way higher. I'm with you. It's between the AFC North and the NFC North that I think should be the best, so definitely higher.
At 3, again, this is CBS Sports' Jeff Kerr ranking the NFL offseason divisional power rankings. So we just did the AFC North at 4. At 3, the AFC West. At 2, the NFC North. Higher or lower for the NFC North at 2?
NFC East 1?
Yes.
That's a hot take.
Yeah. I mean, look, okay. So who did he have? Who's he have 2? NFC North?
NFC North at 2.
NFC North could be 1. To me, the AFC North and the NFC North should be 1 and 2. The depth of, who's in the NFC North? Who's bad?
I guess Chicago, but they could realistically have a really good season this year.
Yeah, go look at their roster. And if they're competently coached, To me, the biggest question mark in the NFC North isn't the Bears at all. I think Caleb Williams will bounce back in a big way, and I think they'll play. I think they'll have a really nice year. To me, it's Minnesota with J.J. McCarthy, because I just never seen him play NFL football. But Detroit's a Super Bowl contender. The Packers are a Super Bowl contender. If J.J.'s what they believe he is, then they went 14-3 with Darnold. So I got the NFC North number one, because I just think the worst team in that division is easily a 10-win team from a talent standpoint. So I would have them number one. I'd have AFC North number two. I would have the AFC West 3 with Mahomes, year 2 with Harbaugh and Herbert with the Chargers, and then Knicks and Peyton and the Broncos. And I think the Raiders will be much improved with Geno and with Pete Carroll. I think they'll have a little bit of pep in their step. So I would have AFC West 3rd. Then I would go NFC East, NFC West kind of in the 4-5 range is kind of how I would have this thing broken down. So I think he's given way too much to the NFC East, way too much love.
I don't understand what makes the NFC East the best division in anyone's mind that watches a lick of NFL football.
Right?
Like, the Cowboys could potentially be bad this year. The Giants are going to be bad. Philly and Washington are playoff teams from last year, but Dallas and New York are not that good.
Mm-mm.
Here's Jeff Kerr's reasoning on the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys hired Brian Schottenheimer as head coach and have Dak Prescott back healthy with George Pickens in the fold.
Why was his first sentence about Brian Schottenheimer?
So there's that.
Right. That's a great question.
Did anyone see that as a splash hire?
Or as like that's the determining factor of back to greatness? Jeez. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't see that at all. I know the Cowboys sell. I don't see that part at all. So mine would have gone this way. I would have went NFC North, AFC North, AFC West, NFC West, NFC East is probably the way that I would have gone, and then the two Souths.
I wrote down NFC North, AFC North, everybody else.
Yeah. As long as the AFC or NFC North is at the bottom, then I think you got it right. We'll get you set for game 1 of the NBA Finals tonight, and a major and much due award for a stalwart Blue Jacket who exemplified everything that you'd want an NHL player to be. We'll get you that information coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're known for 3 things: games, conversation, and common man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where our erectile dysfunction treatments are shown to be effective in nearly 90% of cases. Listen to what Alex has to say about our ED treatments.
I have been experiencing problems with ED, but that's all changed. My name's Alex, and I've been a patient for Tri-State Men's Health for under a year. I highly recommend this. Every day I wake up feeling good compared to I was back in the old days. It change is more exciting. You know, I don't have a problem with ED anymore. I'm having a lot more fun. I was very comfortable. I was always comfortable in any conversation I had with Tri-State Men's Health. Yeah, I just want to let gentlemen out there know that you do not have to live with ED, that it is not just an aging process. It is also hormonal and balance and everything in your system. And once you get that under control and everything, you do go back to your youth a lot in how you feel.
Thanks, Alex. It's true. If you're like most men, we'll help you get your sex life back. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring into savings at Ohio Mulch. Get your mulch as easy as ever. Save $50 on home delivery now through Sunday. All you got to do is visit ohiomulch.com today.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Summer is officially here, and that means rising temperatures. You're going to be thinking about how you can keep cool all summer long. What's the best plan here? Well, one of the ways you can beat the heat and keep the air conditioning you're paying for in your home is to get Window Nation's energy-efficient vinyl windows. And now's a great time to do it. They've got a semi-annual sale where you buy 4 windows, you get 4 windows for free. Plus a free entry door when you purchase a whole house full of windows. No money down, no interest, no monthly payments until 2027. It's a deal that can't be beat. You're getting a great deal from Window Nation because they are high-efficiency windows that are also very affordable. They do that by working directly with the top window manufacturers in the country, which means all their windows are assembled right here in the USA. But don't wait on that semi-annual sale. You buy 4 windows, you get 4 windows free. Free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, plus pay nothing until 2027. You've got to schedule your estimate today. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. Once again, that number, 866-90-NATION or windownation.com.
Get your air conditioner fixed fast. Call Care Heating and Cooling, 1-800-COOLING.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Check out this amazing deal on Kellogg's cereal. Select varieties or buy 2, get 3 free with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
All your favorite and least favorite fan shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in 971 The Fan to the search bar and hit that subscribe button. It's free.
We're the land of the free and the home of the sunburnt, freckled fat guy.
Do it now.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding. Over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Summer is in full swing. If you think you're hot, well, so are your trees. You can help your trees by watering them, especially if they're newly planted. During the hot, dry summer months, your trees could use a water boost. Watering new trees a few times a week will help them survive while they're developing their root system, so don't forget about them. To find out more about watering trees or to find a certified arborist near you, go to treesforohio.org. That's trees, the number 4, ohio.org.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here, and so are the summer savings at RCD RV. Don't miss RCD RV's summer kickoff sale running June 7th through the 21st. New RVs starting as low as $12,995. Now's the time to make a splash this summer. Hurry in. Those deals will not last long. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at rcdrv.com. Visit our locations, Delaware, Heath, and Pataskala, or shop online anytime at rcdrv.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today, we will see mostly cloudy skies mixed in with chances of showers and thunderstorms throughout the day. Some could be on the stronger side. Daytime highs topping out in the low 80s, and then for tonight, lows down into the upper 60s with those chances of showers and storms lingering and continuing into Friday with our highs in the low 80s. And again, those chances of rain will be on and off. Otherwise, expect skies to be cloudy. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bobby Carpenter demands that you watch Morning Juice on YouTube. If you don't, Tito will move into your house.
Live at 6 a.m. on YouTube and streaming on the Fan app.
We'll read your emails on the air, but we won't tell you where to send them. Hey, we're not doing all the work for you. This is Bishop and Friends.
And join us for the inaugural 971 The Fan, the race presented by Ohio State Wexner Medical Center. It's a 5K run, 1-mile walk happening June 21st, Otterbein. Some of your favorite fan personalities will be there. Tyvus will be there, Common Man, Bone, Brother Bone, and of course Reese. You have that to look forward to, which is nice. Every participant gets a finisher's medal, race shirt, free photos, awesome gifts from Logan Services and Raising Cane's. The inaugural 971 The Fan, the race is presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center and sponsored by Impact Health and Wellness, specializing in regenerative medicine, weight loss, and hormone therapy to help define your wellness goals. Sign up today at 97.1 The Fan on that. We did have a little bit of breaking news on the NHL side of things in regard to our guy, Mr. Monahan. And to that end, I want to get this exactly right. Svoboda put this out, and I know others have as well. But Sean Monahan is the first Blue Jacket player to receive the Masterton Trophy and the 6th Blue Jackets to win a major NHL award. The award is given to someone who exemplifies sportsmanship, dedication, and perseverance throughout the 2024-25 season. Sean Monahan is the Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy recipient. And of course, when you think about everything that he endured coming here to play with Johnny, only to lose him before the season, and then the way he carried himself this year on this team and this organization, on the ice and off, fitting, appropriate, all of the things. Monahan fits every single one and checks every single one of those boxes. It's hard to find somebody who carried them. I mean, everybody in that organization carried themselves amidst tragedy about as well as you could. Honestly, like a blueprint of how to handle the most awful circumstances known to a professional athlete could ever try to endure. But Monahan, especially because of all of the circumstances around it and his relationship with Johnny, the fact he came here to play with him, and he was there, and he showed up, and he was great, and on and off the ice. Well-deserved, well-deserved.
Yeah, just to see the emotion at just different points of the season. You know, the first game of the season, they honored Johnny back in Calgary, and then that Stadium Series matchup when he's leading the team out onto the ice. The whole thing is just, it's an incredible testament to the will of that team, that he exemplified a lot of that. And the season that these players were able to put on in honor of Johnny and Matthew and the Gaudreaus is something that will only be remembered and only should be remembered forever. So very well deserved for Monahan. And the first time a Blue Jacket's been honored with that trophy is very fitting. It's Monahan this season.
Yeah, the Blue Jackets, I mean, there were some games that Monahan was out, and they did not play well when he was out. I don't know what their record was when he wasn't there, but I'm assuming that it was not great. And for him to be that valuable to this team after going through what he went to losing one of his best friends in Johnny Gaudreau is very deserving of this award.
Oh, boy, I'm just seeing this. The NHL actually had Meredith Gaudreau present him with the trophy, and they have the video of it.
Talk about emotional.
Wow. Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. Really, really cool. Really cool thing, and really deserved. Man, he was great. He was great. Whole organization was. God bless her. For the way that she's handled herself and through all of it. Just incredible stuff. Have a tissue ready when you do watch that, because it's something else. We have game one of the NBA Finals starting tonight. It is Oklahoma City. It is Indiana. Oklahoma City felt inevitable. And when you think about 68 wins and you think about what they've done in the postseason, once they got through Denver, it's kind of been smooth sailing for them. They are so deep, so talented, and really could just be the start of something with this team because of how young they are and how well they're built and the amount of draft picks they have. So if you don't like seeing Oklahoma City in the NBA Finals, get used to it, because they're going to be here a lot. Indiana came a little bit more out of nowhere. We knew that they would be a challenge in a big way for Cleveland, but we certainly did not see what happened to Boston happening. I think we played most of this season with the notion that it would be Oklahoma City and Boston in the finals. I think that was probably the chalk for much of the season. Once the Tatum injury happens, and once New York, quite honestly, handled Boston, then this whole thing got flipped. And Indiana proved that they were the best team in the East amidst those injuries to Tatum and the way that they kind of handled themselves. This should be a pretty good series. I don't necessarily know that it'll be one that a lot of people are locked into. So it's going to be on those superstars. And I do think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is becoming one. It's going to be on those superstars, him and then Halliburton, to put on a bit of a show tonight to kind of set the tone. Here's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on that.
To be honest with you, I really don't know. I can tell you an all-star, you make the all-star team. I can tell you a world defender, you make an all-defense team. I can tell you a world player, you make an all-NBA team. I can tell you an MVP, you can get an MVP award. A champion, you win a championship. I don't know how to define that one. And for me personally, I think that's one of those things. It's almost like the face of the league combo. It's for the world to decide and their opinions, and they come together. And I guess as a collective, more people think you're a superstar, or more people think you're a face of the league than not. And I guess you become that and you walk into it. But I don't think that's something that's has a formula. I think it's just a feel thing. Yeah, all the other stuff has a cut and dry answer for you.
Yeah.
But me personally, it's just been trying to be the best player I can possibly be, and hopefully one day win a championship.
Is that one of the best answers to the innocuous question of, are you a superstar, that you've ever heard?
Yeah, he carries himself so well.
He crushed that.
And unfortunately, he's Canadian. But that's a guy you have no problem rooting for. At least this Cleveland Cavaliers fan has no problem rooting for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight. I'm interested because they've had 9 days off since dismissing the Timberwolves in the Western Conference Finals. Pacers only a couple days off after beating the Knicks in the Eastern Conference. So I'm I'm really interested to see how, because that Oklahoma City, the fan base is going to be nuts for this. But will the Thunder match that energy and intensity from the crowd, or do the Pacers feed off of that? Because it does feel like they're falling very well into the natural villain role.
Yeah, to go back to the initial sound, I think SGA is a superstar. If you remember, the only reason they have SGA is because they decided to blow it up after Westbrook and Paul George. And those guys couldn't get OKC even close to the finals, and they're considered superstars, at least Westbrook is. And it's really embarrassing for the Clippers to look back now that they gave up SGA and an embarrassment of draft picks for Paul George. And look where the two players in the two organizations are right now.
To your point, I don't know that anybody knew that SGA would be this.
Right.
But he was pretty good. You saw flashes. You saw flashes at Kentucky, and you saw some flashes. He just played the 1 year for the Clippers, right?
It was one or two. It was not a bunch.
But there was enough to see that he was the pound of flesh in this thing, more so than the draft picks. Because the draft picks, who knows what draft... It's so hard. You end up with a draft like the one you had last year, and there might not be a single guy that came out of that draft who's going to be an all-star player. Who knows? But he was a bit of a known commodity. And this is kind of, honestly, Paul George kind of built both of these teams.
Yeah.
Or the business of being out of business with Paul George built both of these teams.
I didn't even think about that, but I completely forgot about Paul George being in Indiana for all those years and him forcing his way out via trade. So, Paul George is the reason for these finals, I guess.
The question posed was about Halliburton too. He's not there yet. I think you win an MVP, and then we all assume that OKC is going to win this thing, and if SGA puts on a bit of a clinic here, he averaged 32 a game this year, so he's been doing this all year. Like, I always view this through the eyes of my kids, and one of them, I can't remember if it's the oldest or the middle, that has an SGA jersey. So, like, they sought that out, right? They're not fans of Oklahoma City, but, like, they like players, and he's one they like. And so, I think he's there. I think he could enter the Tatum realm really, really quickly with a championship over the next couple of weeks. If he does that, I think he gets into that really quickly. You mentioned him as Canadian. One of the things that we got talked about a little bit yesterday was this notion that the NBA, in an attempt to make their All-Star game better, and it was the worst variation of it you've ever seen last year, that they are going to do USA versus World at the All-Star game. Now, the thing that's going to be tricky about this is obviously you'll have to have 12 players from each. So they're going to have to set the ballot of voting American versus World. So you're going to be able to pick 12 World players and 12 American players, and that's the way they're going to have to do it. I mean, the World's the favorite, right? Not particularly close?
Yes. But I'm excited for that idea only because I think there'll be actual competition. Like, there's going to be actual hustle. I think. Like, I could be totally wrong when we get to that point, whenever it does happen. It sounds like they want to try it in 2026, is what Adam Silver was saying, but who knows if they... I think the players would have to... Or the CBA, or, the Players Association would have to agree with it, but this this is the best possible scenario for a competitive all-star game, is when you have national stakes on the line, when you put countries, or you put Team USA on your chest and Team World. I don't know what that does, but I know Team USA gets guys juiced whenever they're wearing it.
Yeah,
a world starting real quick, D. A world starting five of Shea, Luka, Giannis, Joker, and Wemby.
Yeah, I mean, when you said not even close, like, I think it.
Who's our five?
The starting five for the international team is going to be pretty solid, but once you get to players like 10 through, I don't know how many they put on an all-star team. Is it 12?
They'll go 12, yeah.
Like, I don't know if they're going to be as deep as the USA team, but the starting five is probably going to be better.
It is. I just gave it to you.
Yeah. And
it is going to be better.
This is one of the conversations that I had in one of my group chats during All-Star break, was that they should do NBA or USA versus World, because honestly, can you guys tell me what format they did this past All-Star game?
The stupid
it was dumb. All I know is that it was dumb, but I don't remember what it was exactly. It was a non-memorable All-Star game that no one cared about. So for the sake of nothing else, the change of the format will get people intrigued enough to at least watch it year one. And then to Reese's point, what's the competition level going to be like once you get the eyeballs on the All-Star game?
I mean, R5.
Boy, Team USA. I mean, I got Durant,
like Brunson and Mitchell.
Well,
like Tatum.
I don't know. I had Durant, Ant, LeBron,
Durant.
Steph.
Yeah, we went old guys. Yeah, Ant would be in the mix. Tatum would be in the mix.
Yeah, I'd rather have like Tatum and Brunson.
Yeah, that world team's it's a squad. That's an absolute squad. That's how far the sport has come, though. And there's a million reasons why that's happened. And a lot of it did start probably with the 92 Dream Team, because that exposed folks at the highest level and around the world to our best. And then people started emulating it, and maybe their process for growth is a little bit better than ours. I'll get some perspective on this in 2 minutes from a Buckeye Hall of Famer, the great Scooney Penn, great friend. He's going to join us in a couple of minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT and cybersecurity? Attend classes live, online, or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
Must be the love, yeah. Must be the love right now.
There's so much to love in Ohio because the heart-shaped state is the heart of adventure with 76 free state parks, amusement parks, ballparks, and more. The heart of opportunity with great jobs and a low cost of living. Ohio is the heart of it all. Follow your heart at ohio.org.
Sponsored by Tourism Ohio and aired by this station. Listen to Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on 1460 ESPN, covering topics like what you need to know about annuities and how to stay healthy and enjoy retirement. Financially Fit Radio this Saturday at 9 a.m. on 1460 ESPN.
This Father's Day at Lowe's, score free gifts for the greatest dad. Right now, get a free Blackstone 8-piece accessory kit when you buy a Blackstone 28-inch griddle. Plus, get 2 free select Craftsman V20 tools when you buy an RP brushless drill and impact driver combo kit. Shop these deals and more this Father's Day at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 6/15 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, and MLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
When General Sherman marched through Georgia, he was listening to this show.
Use your skills for good, young warrior.
This is Bishop and Friends.
He's one of my favorites to ever wear the scarlet and gray. He is an Ohio State Hall of Famer. He's a former assistant coach both here at Ohio State and, of course, with the Memphis Grizzlies. He is 1-2-1-2. He is Scooney Penn, and he joins on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. My friend, it is great to talk to you. When you hear people say that this NBA Finals is one that will not have a lot of interest because of the size of the markets, as someone who applied his trade in that the last 5 or 6 years as you have, what is your response to that?
I think they're a little crazy because it definitely does. I mean, we have the NBA MVP in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You have Halliburton, who's, with all the controversy with being the most underrated by his peers. You have 2 young teams, the 2 teams that play fast, they play hard, they play good defense, they score a lot of points. I mean, it's a new day, and they have the star power. Maybe not the megastars. Obviously, it's not the LeBron. It's not the Steph, what we're accustomed to. It's not the Lakers. It's not Boston. But the NBA, to keep growing and being as good of a league as it is, you need a game like this. With these young guys, and I think it's going to be a terrific series. I do think OKC's going to win it, but, you need to watch it. And those who really watch basketball, especially the NBA, are going to love to watch these 2 teams match up tonight.
Buddy, you had to deal with OKC all the time, and we could see this coming with them. But when you just look at the depth of talent, the length, their shooting, I mean, obviously SGA gets all the attention. He won the MVP, but it's not just him. They come in waves, man. This is one of those things where it feels like this is just the beginning of many for them.
Listen, they've done a great job. Sam Presti and the coach, I give those guys tons of credit because just, was it 3 years ago, when OKC came to Memphis, we beat them by a record 70 points.
Mm-hmm.
They were getting smashed by everyone. But you can see it because what he was doing was drafting very well, stockpiling picks, having young talent that was getting a chance to develop. And you just knew it. When these guys come into their own and when they gel, obviously when Chet, he had an injury his rookie year, he can get back into it. Like, these guys are going to be a problem. So I love the way that OKC was built from the bottom up. They made some big trades. You know, you figure you had a guy like Chris Paul there. You know, you had a lot of guys that were stars, all-stars that were there that they traded away, and people looked at them like they were crazy. But Sam Presti knew what he was doing, and now this is a result that we see, that a team that he developed that will be good for the next 5 years or so in the NBA.
I think the two guys that are kind of be at front and center of this obviously will be Shea and obviously Halliburton, as you alluded to in your first answer, my friend. But the thing that's pretty interesting about both those guys is, and I think it speaks to how hard it is to build in the NBA right now, because you're drafting these guys so young, and then you need to see like the big picture. This is pretty wild. But both Shea and Tyrese have been traded. They are not on the teams who drafted them, bud.
I mean, again, give those guys, the front office people in both organizations credit. They had a vision of what was going to happen in the future, because Shea easily could have left a couple years ago when they were getting demolished, but he was playing great basketball. But he decided to stick around. They knew what they were building. They knew what they had in him. Then on the flip side, you had Tyrese, who was doing very well in Sacramento, and they got him out of there because of why? Fox needed the ball more. You had two guys need the ball in their hands, and then eventually they lose Fox to San Antonio anyways. So, I mean, hey, Indianapolis and OKC, they both lucked up by getting young guys who are not only good players, but they're team guys. They're not prima donnas. It's not all about them. I think their teammates absolutely love them. Their cities adore them. And they're the kind of stars that we want to see in the NBA. I think in professional sports, I think we got to the point that we're tired of seeing the prima donnas who just care about the headlines, that want to get the accolades. But these guys don't care about that. They care so much about their team, and I love how they do everything as a team unit that goes for both of those guys.
Talking to Ohio State Hall of Fame basketball player Scoonie Penn, the great 1-2-1-2, joining us on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. This Indiana team's got some grit to them. They'll punch you in the mouth. We saw that with in the Cleveland series where Cleveland was not ready for it. Now, Cleveland had injuries, and that contributed too, but that almost felt like it was inevitable. If there is a path, and I think most people are like you and I, and think Oklahoma City will handle business in this thing, but if Indiana is going to pull the upset, spring the upset, what do these games starting tonight need to look like for them?
It needs to look like, the team that they have to hit a lot of three-pointers. OKC's defense is great. But I don't think they have enough to get to the basket with the size that OKC has and just the defensive help that they do throughout. But they do have an opportunity because they push the ball so fast and they get it out of the net that if they get to the extreme corners and they got guys running their lanes, they should be able to get off some threes. And if they're able to do that at a pretty good clip, then they will have a chance in this series. Of course, three-point is the way of the game now, but you're playing against an OKC team who does not rely on three-pointers as much. Shea being, the leading scorer of the NBA this year, he does his damage in the paint, pull-up jumpers, and on the free throw line. But this team here, they can light it up at the three-point line. And in my opinion, that's the way that they have a chance to win. But they have to shoot at a high clip because that defense of OKC is so elite and so special, and they work so good as a unit. They make it tough for you to have touches in the paint time and time again, and that's how you win games, by touching the paint and get to the free throw line. They don't allow that much. So Indianapolis is going to have to, be ready, be sharp shooters throughout the series to have a chance.
All right. One of the other things that got some headlines this week around the association was Adam Silver saying we're going to go USA versus World at the All-Star game. This last All-Star game was an unmitigated joke. I mean, it was just a disaster. When you and I were kids, it was East versus West, and basically that meant Lakers and Celtics were team captains, and they were going to hate each other, and they played a pretty competitive All-Star game. But that's been a long time ago. Do you think that this will work in bringing the passion back to the game? And I think we're the underdog, man.
Yeah. I hope it does, because I don't even watch the All-Star games anymore.
Yeah.
The dunk contest is trash, right? Because the best guys don't do it. The All-Star game, the guys don't play hard. It's kind of a joke. I watch the three-point contest because that's the best. Three-point contest and the skills challenge are my favorite to watch. Like you said, we need to bring it back. I hope it works, but you're right. We're the underdogs, the USA, because there's more foreign players on the All-Star game, at the All-Star game, than there is Americans. But hopefully there's a pride thing that comes into this. But again, I always go back to this, right? Why was it so good? Because the guys, they had something to play for. There was bragging rights. They didn't like each other. You know, they were cordial. But these guys now, they're so cool with each other so much that the competition isn't there anymore. Then you throw in the factor that at so young they make so much money, they don't care if the All-Star game or not. They don't care about the money they get there. Whether the fans say they don't like it or not, they're still going to make their $50-60 million. So I hope that this works, because it has hurt the game that we don't see, a competitive All-Star of the best. And that starts with the best players. It starts with LeBron James all these years. He needs to set a tone. Steph Curry. These guys need to set a tone. But hopefully playing against Giannis and Jokic and Shea, guys that are not from the USA, these guys can punch you in the mouth. But what are you going to do? You're going to back down? So I'm all for it, and I hope it works, because we need something new.
All right. Knowing you the way that I do, I'm guessing that you had a big smile on your face as a diehard Patriots fan with the hiring of Mike Vrabel.
I loved it.
Come on, man.
That Buckeye guy. Listen, I've been bragging to all my guys. I said, listen, I've been okay. I said, when the Patriots started losing a few years back and the whole Belichick, Brady left, I said, you know what, I'm good for at least 10 years, because we've owned the NFL for like 2 decades. But now it's going to come back. We're going to take our lumps. We did last year. We won a couple games. This year is going to be better. But the following year, you watch out for the Patriots, because we're going to be back up top.
I'm telling you. I thought of you, man. I know how much you love your Patriots, and I'm thinking, my God, they got Vrabel. I talked to him a lot when he was up in Cleveland last year, and he is ready to go, brother. I'm telling you that.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right, buddy. I always love talking to you, my friend. It's great catching up again, and we'll do it again soon. Thank you for your time, pal.
Thanks for having me. Later.
All right, that's the great Scoonie Penn, Ohio State Hall of Fame guard on the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. One of the coolest things ever, we were in Boston covering the Buckeyes in the NCAA tournament, and we were waiting for our rental car, Dom and I were, and as we were waiting at the gate, one of the guys goes, and this had been years since Scoonie's a Boston schoolboy legend. He played at BC, obviously, before transferring to Ohio State, but the guy, recognized Scoonie right away as Scoonie walked in and upgraded him immediately to his own car, and I thought that's how it should be. That's Boston basketball royalty with 1-2-1-2 cruising around the city. We'll hit 3 things on a Thursday. Up next, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
With Amazon Business, smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Hey, it's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
One of my favorite things, Wilson, is the look on people's faces when they see the end price for Pella windows.
Yeah, I'm always hearing, does it look like I'm wearing my money britches?
More like, I can't believe we get the Pella look and quality at these prices.
Oh, you went the other way with that. You're hearing good things. Oh, this is awkward.
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
We've discovered the perfect morning ritual, the 2 for $6 breakfast sandwich deal at Tim Hortons. Every sandwich is made to order with a freshly cracked egg and melty cheese, just the way breakfast should be. Choose between savory sausage or hickory smoked bacon, served on a toasted English muffin or flaky biscuit. There's no wrong way to mix and match this tasty deal. 2 breakfast sandwiches, just $6. Perfect. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, single item at regular menu price. Modifications and tax extra. Exclusions and additional terms apply.
I'm an old school Joe, and my philosophy is simple and effective. At the end of the day, it's not what you win or lose, it's what you save. And betting reduced juice at Prime Sports Ohio is the way to save money on every single bet. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? It's all here, only with Spectrum TV Select. Popular apps are included: Disney Plus, Max, Peacock Premium, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, and more. And live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. Enjoy across your devices no matter when or where you are. Get Spectrum TV Select and start streaming your favorites today. It's all here. Visit spectrum.com/entertainment. Restrictions apply.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With TrueHold, you can sell your home for its current value, so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. TrueHold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since TrueHold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit TrueHold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
Guess what? Our ugly faces are on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan and watch all your favorite shows. Laptop, phone, tablet, smart TV, we're everywhere. Bring us in the bedroom with you. Yes, The Fan.
The most common form of treatment for the arthritic joints is normally cortisone injections and gel shots and over-the-counter medications. And most patients have tried all of that and are still in pain.
Every day, Dr. Aaron Wolkoff, a QC Kinetics medical director, meets patients who have exhausted every method to get relief. They've been told surgery is their only option.
They want to stay away from that path, and they come to us almost as the last hope. So we're using our own body's properties to help manage pain, to help slow arthritis down, keep the patients active with no downtime, and getting back to what they enjoy doing. I mean, I love what I do.
QC Kinetics regenerative treatments from our board-certified providers help heal and restore aching joints. No surgery, harmful drugs, or downtime. Call for your free consultation today.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Patriot Air Comfort Systems and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
Producers, co-hosts, friends, some of those things are true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what do we have on the poll today?
The Daily Fan Poll asks, who do you think is going to win the NBA Finals? Your options are Thunder in 4-5, Thunder in 6-7, Pacers in 4-5, Pacers in 6-7. 36% of respondents to the Daily Fan Poll say the Thunder are going to win it in 6 or 7. 35% say the Thunder in 4 or 5. 25% say Pacers, in 6 or 7. And just 3% say Pacers in 4 or 5.
I got OKC in 5. Where are you guys?
I go OKC in 6. I think Indiana gets it done tonight because I think it's time off for the Thunder, and the Pacers I think they lean into this sort of thing.
Yeah, if I'm doing the poll, I'm selecting the Thunder in 6-7 route. I mean, the Pacers have been slept on the whole playoffs, and people just continue to discount them. And I mean, both these teams are built pretty similarly. I think it'll be a pretty good series.
All right, what did we end up on ours? Christmas Day or start of summer break?
So we had just over 200 votes where you wanted to know as a kid, what day did you enjoy more? Christmas morning or the last day of school? 59% say Christmas morning was more enjoyable than the last day of school.
Both of mine, I asked them in a break. Both of them were, the two littles were both pretty adamant that it was that was the correct answer, that it was Christmas morning. But you guys phrased it that way. It was knowing when you were done with the last day of school, knowing that you had nothing for weeks and months was pretty great. Like that's a pretty great realization. All right, time for three things on a Thursday. Hit it, guys.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Buckeye Lake Marina, Central Ohio's largest selection of new and pre-owned boats. Find your next dream boat at BuckeyeLakeMarina.com.
Number one for me. So I remember I told you guys about this. Last year after travel basketball for NBC, I took him to Kentucky. We went to Kentucky-Arkansas game and kind of took it all in. I had all the boys pick Blue Bloods other than Ohio State, so they'd still have an interest in the tournament. The Buckeyes didn't make it, and so he picked Kentucky. And one of the things when you're walking around the Kentucky facility is you're like, my God, the amount of NBA players they had is absolutely staggering. And to prove that point, Kentucky put out a tweet this morning, good luck Cats. And there are 3 Kentucky players in the series. Cason Wallace and, of course, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for Oklahoma City, and then Isaiah Jackson for Indiana. Cason Wallace, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I remember at Kentucky. I do not remember Isaiah Jackson at Kentucky. And it speaks to the point of, I think we're going to look back on John Calipari's talent acquisition during the majority of him time at Kentucky as the most talent-rich time maybe in the history of the sport. Maybe only like John Wooden at UCLA can compare to what Calipari was bringing in there on a year in, year out basis. Really until Duke got in on one and done, they cornered the market. So many NBA All-Stars, so many stars. Like it's stunning they only won one with the amount of talent they have. It really is.
That was what was so frustrating for Kentucky fans during that, and why they were not sad at all to see him go to Arkansas, because they're like, all that talent, and we've only got one banner to hang for it. My first thing was going to be just a message to everybody that voted Christmas Day. I think maybe if you've already experienced it, it's different, but I remember middle school and high school, that was my favorite day of the year. Maybe elementary school was skewed towards Christmas.
Sure.
But the older I got and the freer you could be, the idea of having that summer vacation wide open was the best thing ever. Rick Pitino was on the Yes Network yesterday as the Yankees were losing to the Guardians, and he was asked about his interest in going back to the Knicks. Pitino says he's good at St. John's.
Yeah. He's almost 80, isn't he?
He's up there.
Yeah.
I want my first thing to be an extension of the Christmas Day, last day of school conversation. The people that voted Christmas Day, real short-sighted thinking. That's all. And I think they're just too far removed from experiencing the last day of school to remember how that truly felt. So I think short-sightedness and how far they've been removed from actually being in school is what made that poll the way it is.
That is a very 2025 statement for you. I know that the data suggests this, but the data is wrong.
Yeah, data stinks. Real bad people that voted for Christmas.
It's the worst data ever.
Awful humans.
Number 2 for me, I see the Nintendo Switch 2 drops today, and with it comes a new Mario Kart called Mario Kart World. I will just tell you this, that the most fun I've ever had playing a video game with the boys, and you can play all 4 at the same time, is Mario Kart on the Switch. It's awesome. I don't know if you can play all 4 in this Mario Kart world, but if you can, all at the same time off of one system, pure joy if you've got kids and you want to kind of wade into the video game world a little bit.
Yeah, can confirm. I'll actually just make that my second thing. If you are going to get kids like a game system, something that everybody can do, is that much better for it. Because like even to this day, I got a friend with a Nintendo 64, and you can still do Mario Kart, and it still works. Like Super Smash Brothers, GoldenEye. Those are still fun games that you can play today. You actually have to have some friends.
Yeah, I mean, not to be boring, but I'll make that my second thing as well. The Switch is what I play with my daughter, Gianna, and she's 6. And she has gotten robbed on winning some games of Mario Party. She hasn't won one yet, but at the end, they just give you a star for the most ridiculous achievements during the game, like most spaces moved, most times landed on a red space. She should have like multiple victories as a 6-year-old in Mario Party over me if it wasn't for that just dreaded random star giving at the end of the whole thing. We have a ton of fun playing that, and kids of all ages can play the Switch and have a ton of fun playing it.
Yeah, there's no question. Number 3 for me. So I noticed this last night. I go downstairs. I'm going to go turn on the Stanley Cup game, and Beamsy is watching one of these House Hunter shows. And my wife and kids are addicted to these things. So, and it doesn't matter. It can be House Hunters Bahamas. It can be House Hunters Alaska. It can be House Hunters Portugal. It really doesn't matter. It also doesn't matter when the show is actually filmed. I was watching one last night, or they were watching one last night, and I got pulled into it, where Jason Elam, the former Denver Broncos kicker, was trying to buy an island house in Alaska. And it was very clear, based on his wardrobe, which was straight out of Banana Republic in 1998, that this was shot 20 years ago. And they were still locked in. What are we doing? But they love it. They're absolutely locked into it. They will seek it out, and there's a channel every night on cable that has it on. They'll watch it every night. It's wild.
I'll make this my third thing. I was going to say this yesterday in response to the guilty pleasure television question. There's a thing on Max called Castle Impossible, where the worst couple at every party, or the worst couple ever, they somehow, one of them inherits a chateau in France, and they have to like renovate this thing. And every red flag that could possibly stick up when inheriting something like that pops up for them, yet they dive headfirst into it. And it's pretty impressive what they're able to do, but you just have to have a ton of cash because they burn through it so quickly. But it's addictive. It's addicting to watch, and it shouldn't be.
My third thing is to stay here listening to Rothman and Ice. We got an email from Fish, and it says, "Hi, all. Anthony is out today. Cole will slide over and co-host Rothman and Ice with Maddie." And I'm excited to hear what Cole's going to say, what disrespectful takes he's going to have about not calling people sir or mister, or saying that he's going to call Coach Day Ryan to his face. Like, I'm sure there's just going to be a bunch more of that coming up today, as this is his first time co-hosting, I believe.
You want to really get him, Golding. Tell him there's a time where a Columbus guy owned the Pittsburgh Pirates and spent like the Yankees, because that happened too. You have that to look forward to, which is nice. We're back tomorrow. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Common man, a radio veteran, has a large hemorrhoid. Timmy Hall, a good, clean boy, moonlights as man's hemorrhoid. Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan.
Bob Yoakum, president of Rockford Homes, talks about what makes First Bank of Central Ohio different.
I would say it starts by caring. It starts by doing what you say you're going to do and following through on it. When you're talking about local, you're talking about relationships and people that matter to you. I don't care if that's personally or professionally.
Experience what it's like to be first at First Bank of Central Ohio. Visit fbcentralohio.com for more details. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable, and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
When sudden illness or injury strike, Ohio State offers 3 types of urgent care to meet any of your needs. From traditional urgent care to our specialized orthopedic urgent care for activity-related injuries and advanced urgent care for more serious injury and illness, Ohio State's experts treat everything from broken bones to ear infections and colds and flu. When your illness or injury can't wait, the choice is clear.
There's a new way to surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle and Market District. Shop Giant Eagle's uncompromising quality at a reliable price with everyday savings. Look for signs throughout the store to find bargains on produce, meat, and more. Visit Giant Eagle to see how easy it is to save.
This summer, elevate your backyard barbecue game with Napoleon Grills from Billiards Plus in Dublin. Experience the power of Napoleon's infrared sizzle zone, reaching up to 1,800 degrees in just 30 seconds for that perfect steakhouse sear. Stay connected with the Napoleon Home app. Monitor up to 3 temperature probes, all from your smartphone. Built to last with premium steel, the grilling season never ends with Napoleon Grills from Billiards Plus. Visit Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin and transform your patio into a gourmet grilling paradise.
If the newest escape room in town is just you trying to escape from your busted garage door, we are Deluxe Door Systems. For 30 years, we've fixed crappy garage doors, straightforward, honest, and for less than you think. DeluxeDoorSystems.com.
This Father's Day at Lowe's, score free gifts for the greatest dad. Right now, get a free Blackstone 8-piece accessory kit when you buy a Blackstone 28-inch griddle. Plus, get 2 free select Craftsman V20 tools when you buy an RP brushless drill and impact driver combo kit. Shop these deals and more this Father's Day at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 6/15 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ. That's JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
This Father's Day, help Dad be all he can be with a gift from the Home Depot, because he's not just Dad, he's the handyman of the house, the plumber in a pinch, and the emergency mechanic. Upgrade his gear this Father's Day with the Husky Mechanics 270-piece tool set from the Home Depot. Now on special buy for $119, a $695 value. For every kind of dad, find the perfect gift this Father's Day at the Home Depot.